your Road America winner, Justin Allgaier. Win number 6 for Christopher Bell, and it's going to come at Road America.
Attaboy, attaboy. Woo.
Austin Cindric is going to be the 11th different winner at Road America.
Good job, everybody. Way to fight all day. Heck yeah. Man, I love you guys. Let's go play up pound, baby. Hell yeah! Hey, you drive right there, boys. Hell yeah. First of many more. Thank you guys so much. All right, all right, all right. Woo! Let's go, boys! Hell yeah, baby! Woo!
And Justin Allgaier wins here at the Nashville Super Speedway.
Awesome job. Awesome job.
Legendary Road America.
Back at Road America, car's about to roll off of pit road. Let's let you know what the starting grid is and where they're starting. Kyle Larson, Ty Gibbs, they're going to make up row number 1. Sam Mayer from Franklin, Wisconsin. That's just on the south side of Milwaukee, about 63 miles from here. He will start in the 5th position.
Look back, row 6, Sage Karam, open wheel champ, both in Indy Lights and F2000. Right behind him, the 27-year-old Josh Bilicki from Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, about an hour from here. I think he has more laps at this track than every other driver in the field.
Back in row 11, series champion Daniel Hemrick looking for his first win of 2022. Miguel Paludo, very established road racer, back there in row 13.
As we look a little bit farther back, we see a lot of cars going to the rear. It's going to be crowded back there. AJ Allmendinger, he's starting in the back and had to go to the back, and he's going to have some action early starting from that final row.
Rutledge Wood has been able to give us a closer look at the area that we come to every week when we go to a different racetrack with Rutt's City View. He's at Elkhart Lake.
Rick, I asked some friends, hey, where should I go when we come to Road America? And all of my racing friends, especially Ryan Eversley, who's racing in IMSA this weekend, he said Sibkin's Stop In is a place you got to go. And let me show you why. Because every racer that's basically ever come through Road America, when they win, they come here to celebrate. When you take a look around, you see how many cool stickers, how much signatures, how much history there is, whether it's Andretti, you got Dario Franchitti on the wall. In June, Will Power came by, so did Scott Dixon. I mean, they even have Dale Jr.'s favorite thing, the remote jukebox. You can play other people's songs. So, like, if you want to play a song for my buddy Drew Brown from Trackhouse this year, you can do it, man. This place is amazing. So much history. And that racetrack wouldn't happen without the people here at Sibkin's trying to push for that track to open. So, amazing history here at the Stop In, guys.
Thanks, Rutt. And we have had some great views from Rutt already all this weekend. From Elkhart Lake, just about 2 miles from this racetrack now, and it was a part of the road course earlier on when it went right through the town. The road course went through there.
Every time we can talk to Rudd, he helps us fill our evening plans.
That's
now
right.
We have a stop this evening. We're going to have to go check it out. The whole town of Elkhart Lake, really amazing. We got to spend a little time in it last night. It was unbelievable.
All right, guys, I want you to take me through a lap, and we've got Riley Herbst. We're going to ride along with him here at Road America. He did this yesterday for us.
Yeah, this is really long racetrack, 14 turns. This is turn 1, an incredible braking and passing opportunity. Anytime you have a long straight followed up by a sharp corner, it's a great opportunity on a road course. Now as he goes through turn 2, another sharp right-hander downhill to turn 3, right sides all over that curb, use all the racetrack on corner exit. Now he goes down this back straightaway underneath the bridge. Now he's going to start downhill, Steve, and this is a heavy braking zone again. Downhill, we'll see a lot of lockup here, a lot of wheel hop because the front tires are heavy, the rear tires are light, a lot of wheel hop, and cars on and off.
Yeah, and then you mentioned elevation. Well, all that downhill, now it's time to climb up, and that makes for turn 6 to be basically blind. You pick your spot right there into the Corvette Bridge, a left-hand corner, and then this is kind of a combination style of the racetrack right here. You're going to go turn 7 and a quick jump down to turn 8, which is pretty straightforward, a 90-degree left-hander. Then they very long, people will call it the carousel. It's basically turns 9 and 10, the connection of 2 of them. So as you come out of turn 8, watch this right-hand corner. It's almost like you're back on an oval. You part throttle, trying to get grip down, trying to get kind of acceleration out of here because it leads to the long straightaway, which they thought was a good idea to put a kink in the middle of. So as you exit turn 10, turn 11, this might be wide open in IndyCar. It's anything but in a NASCAR Xfinity Series car. Out of the gas, hope you timed it right. Big trouble if you timed it wrong. Now down into Canada corner. Jeff, a absolute passing zone today.
Yeah, for sure. You can see you're actually turning while you're braking. All right here, see all those black marks? You're actually still turning. That makes this a very difficult braking zone. Again, using all the curbs. And now as you're approaching 13, this back part of the racetrack, this is a tight little corner. It doesn't look like it on paper, but in person it really is. And now it leads you to 14, a very important corner. Another 90-degree turn, but look at the straight. It's such a long straight. If you do that well, you can set up a passing opportunity in turn 1.
You look at the straightaway, Rick, you and I see an uphill onto pit road. Not the best racetrack to run out of gas on because it's going to be pretty hard to coast up that hill onto pit road.
It definitely will. Well, thank you for that lap, and thanks to Riley Herbst for letting us ride along with him. We also are riding along with Ty Gibbs. Let's see if we can dial him up on the radio.
Hey, Ty, Jeff Burton, you got us? Oh, might have stepped on top of him there. Let's try him again. Hey, Ty, Jeff Burton, you got us?
Yes, sir.
Well, buddy, you got 2 road course wins in your career so far, but this is a very demanding track. 14 turns over 4 miles was the most difficult part of it.
I think just tire fall off, Jeff. I think just be able to make sure that you're not, doing the burning the tires up, and you got to keep it for the long haul. So we'll see what we can do. I think we got a very fast monster. You put it in your Supra.
All right, get your pit road speed, buddy. We're going to leave them alone right now. They're on pit road trying to get their speed. So, Steve, we're not going to be talking to him while he's doing this. We want to make sure we don't interrupt that data that he's getting.
That was a great view, though. You see him moving into second gear pit road speed. And it's interesting, I mentioned that hill climb, pit road speed doesn't really start till the top of that hill. So you have to really scoot up that hill to make time. You're expecting to see a lot of the pit stops here today to be under green. And you see right here, they kind of stack up. There's nothing easy about this place. We got to come for the first time last year. Rick, Xfinity's been here 13 times, but it was only the first trip for the Cup Series. And we got to ride around here in a pace car, and it was just shocking to me that it's not just the ups and downs and the lefts and the rights. It's the content of the pavement. A lot of bumps, a lot of seams, a lot of places to try to find grip.
These drivers will take on this little over 4-mile road course when we return. Field looking forward to taking the green flag here in just a moment. Before they do, let's go back to pit road and Kim.
And Cole Custer is making his third start for SS Greenlight Racing this season in that 07 car. And while he's in this race primarily to get more track time before tomorrow's Cup event, he did tell me he's confident about what they can do here today, especially after being at the top of the charts in yesterday's practice. Cole got the team their first win at Auto Club earlier this season, and Marty, he says he has every reason to believe they can contend for the win here this afternoon.
Kim, if folks at home want someone to pull for, how about Sam Smith? He is barely 18 years old, making his NASCAR Xfinity Series debut with Joe Gibbs Racing here. I talked to him this morning, and he won the last 2 ARCA races as well, and I said, you have much road racing experience? He said, no, sir, I don't. He said, first year ever I've done some road course racing. He's been in Trans Am a lot this year, raced Trans Am this weekend, and he has impressed so far, Parker. Qualified 8th. We'll see if he can get out of here with a top 10. I asked him what the goal was. He said, just 45 laps. I want to complete all the laps today.
That's a great goal. And for another driver starting 15th or qualified 15th would be Justin Allgaier in that 7 car. But he will not be starting there. He will be starting from the back because he suffered brake issues in practice and qualifying yesterday. And talking to him, he said, I just could not stop eventually. I had rear lockup and wheel hop. I also had right front lockup. The team went to work. They changed all they could around the brake system, and therefore he will be starting at the rear. And Steve, my question to you is, how do you make that determination? They couldn't find anything in that race car, but they decided to basically change everything, the braking system. How do you decide what to look at and what to change?
Well, I asked Jason Burdett, the crew chief of this 7, earlier today, and he had mentioned they had come with some things that were different. You know, there's not a lot of practice for Xfinity Series. They thought it was time to try to improve, and it was obvious when they talked to all the drivers and the data on this 7 that this car had the worst braking of the junior motorsports cars. So I think that kind of led them in the right direction, Parker. They know what was different, and they went back to what they had confidence in.
So brakes the issue for 2 drivers. Allmendinger didn't qualify because of brakes, and Allgaier also with an issue. All right, Steve, break this race down for us.
Well, you would think 45 laps makes it simpler, but it's anything but. The first stage, 10 laps. Remember, a lot of guys will pit right around here, like lap 8. Before that caution comes out, we'll see guys on pit road. The same thing here at the end of stage 2, you might come to pit road, but the money, the key, 25 lap final stage. You can only go 16 to 18 laps on fuel. So somewhere in, like at the 1/3 mark or the halfway mark, you're gonna try to come to pit road. The key is, how much fuel do you need? Overtime could be 8 or 12 miles. How important are those tires? So while 45 laps would seem simpler, it's actually much more complex for these crew chiefs. 1 extra lap, Rick, is a 4-mile risk you're willing to take with your driver.
Up the hill, the field comes, getting ready for the green flag from Road America. Kyle Larson in the 17 on the inside, and on the outside, Ty Gibbs in the 54. Green flag is out, they're underway.
That is one of the most strange looking starts of the race I have seen in a long time. Look at the advantage Kyle Larson already has. Like the rest of the field didn't see the green, or Kyle Larson took off too early. We'll see what NASCAR says.
That's the only time when the green flag actually starts the race. On restarts, you'll see that the leader of the race will start inside that start zone, but the green flag has to fly. And NASCAR is telling us the start was good. So Kyle Larson out front has about a 5-car length lead over Gibbs, Riley Herbst, Cole Custer, and Sam Mayer, the top 5.
He's already back in the field. See right here, Noah Gragson trying to outbrake. Now he's got to get slowed down so he doesn't get inside of that 2 car. Steve, that's what you have to do at these road courses. You have to find a way to outbrake the guy in front of you, get next to him to make a pass.
Giving Sam Mayer in that 1, not really giving up the position. He's going to try to stay to the right side of the 9. Now he falls in line behind the 48 of Reddick. That red and white car right there. Noah Gragson in the familiar colors, the Bass Pro Shop car. He's a little attack from Reddick. Will there be room? No, Reddick kind of backs out, lets the 9 down.
Jeff, you've been in this situation before earlier in your career when you're running in the Xfinity Series and Cup drivers are also in the race. Is that a great opportunity for these Xfinity Series regulars to measure themselves against the best in the sport?
I think it's an incredible opportunity. I wish we had more Cup drivers in the Xfinity races on a regular basis because it makes the Xfinity guys better. It allows you to see how you are against the best in the business. You see several guys running off course here. But yes, it does make you better. It makes it much more difficult to have success, but in the long run, makes you a much better race car driver.
That's amazing, Rick. When one guy drops off into the dirt and then basically the cars disappear, right? The drivers are driving into that blind as well, a high-speed area. This is, I think, through the kink. Right there we see the first car off. I can't quite make out, but then it was the 18. Smith right behind him.
Yeah, I think that was Sam Mayer maybe in front of Smith.
And now look at this. You're going through one of the fastest areas of the racetrack, one of the most precise areas of the racetrack with limited visibility.
Lap 1 complete. We mentioned the fact that there's only 45 laps, but Steve, that's how long a lap takes here. 4 miles for these guys to get around.
Yeah, 4 miles, 14 very different corners. You see right there the back of the 17 of Kyle Larson just kind of slide out. You could definitely hurt your tires if you want to as you go on board with Ty Gibbs.
I love this view. Let's watch him. He's actually run Larson down a little bit. You saw Larson, Steve, you made reference to how sideways he was. This racetrack is very abrasive, and if you're going to drive your race car like that, it's going to eat the tires off of it. It will hurt them on a long run. Let's see if Ty Gibbs doesn't have a little better car on this long run and can take advantage of Larson sliding.
Just listen. Just listen to the shifts and trying to get this power down. Oh. Big slide out of the 17. Let's listen to this throttle of the 54, see if he's having the same issue. Gingerly back to the throttle, Jeff.
Well, we talked about it, Steve, and the transition to ride along with this Goodyear can with Ty Gibbs, the transition for Kyle Larson getting out of that Cup car into an Xfinity car. What's the difference? The Cup car has much better brakes. You can drive in the corner much deeper, makes very good grip. Larson all the way off the racetrack. And you wonder if that transition isn't happening right now, Steve, where he's got to get back accustomed to this race car after being in the Cup car all morning.
So impressive to see what Ty Gibbs is doing right here. That is the Cup Series champion, Kyle Larson, right in front of him. And Ty Gibbs is all over his back bumper.
And you have to ask if this is some of the mistakes we're seeing out of Larson, just knowing that Ty is so close. And when we were on board with Ty, it just amazes me how little, I don't want to say effort, but how little movement. Not a lot of wasted movement, Marty. He's being very controlled with both the wheel and the shifting.
And they've told him on the radio, the only place Larson is better than you is turn 5. You're better everywhere else. Let's pounce while we can. But Jeff, as Rick mentioned a moment ago, you've been in this spot. I'm wondering, like, for a driver like Ty Gibbs to be able to pass a guy like Kyle Larson just on the track in the middle of the race, what does that do for a young driver's confidence?
Well, listen, it always helps confidence, but I don't think Ty Gibbs is a guy that needs confidence. He believes in himself. He's taken the fight to some of the best road racers in the business, have been able to beat them. We've seen him beat A.J. Allmendinger. We've seen him take the fight to those guys. So he expects to be in front of Kyle Larson. He's not been coming to this race feeling like an underdog. I really believe that about Ty Gibbs. He believes that he can beat Kyle Larson today.
Well, he's looking very impressive, trying to minimize any mistakes that he has made. And you can't count out Cole Custer, who's also in the picture there in the 07. Cole Custer getting some extra track time, being able to run in this Xfinity Series race here at Road America. Cole Custer, a full-time Cup Series driver. But remember, last year was the first year that the Cup Series came to race here. So this is just extra track time that these guys are able to get.
In the bottom right, you see the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger up 19 positions into the top 20. Currently 19th, just in front of him. The 7 of Allgaier also had to start in the back. You mentioned that braking issue Parker was talking about and what they changed. Obviously, it has improved the braking of the 7 as we see him moving through the field. You can't do that without brakes. You got to be aggressive to the brakes and confident. So whatever the issue was, Jason Burnett, Justin Allgaier has corrected it. The pressure from Ty Gibbs, though, is consistent.
On lap 3 here at Road America. Once again through the King and up the hill to Canada Corner. Getting ready to take the hard right-hander here. And the gap now has closed between the 54 of Ty Gibbs and the 07 of Cole Custer. The top 3, you can throw a blanket over them here at Road America. Ty Gibbs to the inside, trying to take the top spot away. He can't do it in turn 1. Kyle Larson able to surge ahead. That's the closest Ty Gibbs has gotten to the lead here at Road America.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs has a faster car right now than Kyle Larson does. Ty is being very patient, has not slipped a tire, but right there off of turn 14, he got that big run. We've seen Ty start to peek out and look under braking to try to make this move on Larson. Here he is again to the right side, making Larson think about him a little bit.
Oh, look,
off the track.
Curbing. Yes, that curbing's going to kill his grip. He's going to have high on exit. Custer in the 07 going to try to muscle his way through. He should have position for the left-hander at the top of the hill.
So that's a racetrack specific problem. Not every track is the same. And in that corner, you called it, Steve, when Ty went to the right side. Look what he's got. He's got his tires on that curb, and now the tires are bouncing up and down. And when they're bouncing up and down, Steve, there's no friction on the racetrack to slow the race car down, costing that spot.
They're like rumble strips. You know, picture the side of the interstate. You know, when you get a little into the shoulder that kind of wakes you up, shakes your car. These are that on steroids. Instead of like a half-inch deep, let's ride on and see if we can hear it. There you go. Just saw every time that the tires were on the paint how rough it was. He actually did a nice job of not losing control. I know he lost a spot, Parker.
Right, guys, I actually did that earlier today in that Mazda race I was in third place. And then you put your right sides on that rumble strip, you mentioned it, it's the paint. It has zero grip. The right sides just start to lock. You can't get the same braking potential that you have on the actual asphalt. It's so easy to do because it's not a straight braking zone. That first car will move over and sort of force you over to that point because you sort of enter that at an angle and not very straight. So impressive for Ty Gibbs only to lose that second position.
Parker, the other thing that's interesting about that curb is the beginning of that curb is a big transition. When he first got on it, you could see the car jump up in the air. And then it sat down, and now it sits down on that extremely rough painted curb, and now the tires don't have any grip. So now he knows, right? Now he put himself in that position, learned that lesson. Let's see if he doesn't make that mistake again as he makes a move on Cole Custer.
Trying to take second back here as Gibbs looks at the inside. This is what he did to Larson earlier, and off track we see the 10 now of Landon Castle, but he's back on track. There will be local yellows if someone gets off track and is able to get back on. They'll show them the blue flag. At least the competition will see that as we see this heating up now as Gibbs and that 07 of Custer are a drag race.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it looks like the 10 kind of got ran off track by the 6 of Ty Dillon.
100%.
Gibbs did grab that second spot away from Cole Custer. So back up to second and chasing once again as we see. Yeah, just.
And on the second view, I might take my opinion on Ty Dillon back. It was hard to see. We kind of saw it late the first time. I'm not sure how Castle got in the grass, whether it was being shoved off or just a mistake, but it was hard to see. Now, we always talk about what's a crew chief, strategy, different things. Right now, what I'm telling one of these front three, look at the pylon, look at the timing on the left side. 7 seconds back to fourth. So if I'm the crew chief for the 17, the 54, the 07, I'm like, guys, we're 5 laps into this race. Let's not give it away and get back here into this mess. Because look at these guys. I mean, this is a stacked up mess. Hemrick right here in the 11 kind of leading the pack. Hill in the 21, that red, white, and blue. This is back just outside the top 15.
Now 17th and 18th here, and Hemrick looks to be holding up this group of cars.
That's a great point, Rick. Whenever you see one car and there's a big line of them behind, it makes you believe that, yes, that car is holding up the rest. That's when people start to get impatient, trying to outbrake somebody, make an aggressive move. You see right there Andy Lally, that blue and white Ford, taking a look at Anthony Alfredo in that 23 car.
And really for Austin Hill, who's 18th now, tough start to this race. He was actually a part of the second round of qualifying, which is the top 10. So he was up there in that 11th spot actually when he started. And he's all the way back to 18th, but it is definitely a fight back here, 17th through 20th. You can download the official app of NASCAR and follow the action with free live scoring. There's in-car cameras as well as radio broadcast. Search NASCAR in your app store and you can download and start a free trial today. Looking down on this 4-mile racetrack, aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. What a beautiful facility here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
Your eyes don't deceive you. See a few cars on pit road, Parker.
I think one of those was Tyler Reddick, who pitted out the 6th position there, doing 4 Goodyear tires and fuel. As we see some of these teams start to flip the stages. They also cleaned his windshield. He couldn't see really well, Marty.
Sammy Smith with his first ever live pit stop here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So, Steve, these teams pitting here before the end of the stage. You will see some who run through this stage. Oh, and a big wreck on the track, Rick.
Yeah, the 0-2 of Brett Moffitt hard into the tires. This will probably bring the caution out, Steve, if he can't get out of the gravel pit here.
It's also how successful Brett Moffitt will be of getting out of this gravel. That was a bad move right there, dumped. I think we're going to see this all connected. They were all racing in that area. There's the 23 and the 08 also spun around. And right now, pit road entry might get busy if people believe they can get to pit road before the yellow comes out. But the problem is the leaders are all the way on that back stretch. There it is, the yellow. So the caution will close pit road. No option to pit now. And Brett Moffitt will have to kind of get drug out of the sand there.
All right, Steve, the guys that hadn't come to pit road, does that change the entire strategy now? Because we're probably going to, well, pit road will be closed prior to the end of this stage. Even if we do go back to green, they can't come to pit road. So that changes the strategy of some of these guys?
Yeah, you know, I talked to a lot of crew chiefs, and there weren't a whole lot that said they were going to pit in this first stage. Just while it does help you get to the front of the field by pitting and then the yellow coming out, tires are so valuable. These teams only have 3 sets, so you're going to want those fresh tires at the end. Let's take a look at what happened to 0-2 Jeff. This was a pretty tight battle. Oh, man, it looks like just, I don't know, a brake failure, I'm assuming. Yeah. It doesn't look like any tires are locked up.
Yeah, there was something mechanically that happened to that race car. You know, there was no tire lock up. No, I didn't see any wheel hop. I mean, he just comes flying in there, and then these two guys, see the wheel hop?
Yes.
On the bottom. Yeah, you could definitely see in Andy Lally's car. You could go back and show that again. You watch the right rear tire. You can see it bouncing up and down on the racetrack. And unfortunately for Anthony Alfredo,
wrong place, wrong
slowed
time.
down. Yeah.
So let's take another look at that, Jeff. So as these two cars come into frame, we're going to freeze it kind of when you start to see this right rear of the 08. So he turns in. We're going to stop it right here. I want you to look at that right rear tire, this area right here. So as we go forward, watch this thing shake. The whole back of that car is shaking, loses control. Basically, wheel hop, Jeff. That means normally it's by downshifting, not on the brakes. Got in too deep, downshifted probably a little earlier than he wanted to try to slow the car down. And then the drive line literally wraps up. And the packed tires, if you could believe it, they will bounce like a basketball. They will leave marks across the pavement. And at that point, you're just a passenger. Now, Alfredo's saying, I don't care how you did it, but you spun me out. Like, wheel hop or no wheel hop, thanks.
Well, and it gets worse on old tires. As you try to run the car harder, it gets worse and worse. The only thing you can do to keep from wheel hopping is stand in the throttle. Well, when somebody's on the outside of it, you stand in the throttle, what do you think is going to happen?
Restart coming up from Road America when we return. NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Ford. Built Ford proud. And by Download America's Love free-to-play slots app. Visit goldfish-racing.com. Really a tough scenario here for the racetrack, for the race fans, because they got this caution at probably the worst time it could possibly come.
Yeah, and it's tough on NASCAR, right? So the caution has to come out. There's a car in the dirt, and it's a couple laps before the end of the stage. So now there's not enough time to restart. And then then we have to run all the way to the end of the stage, which is still basically a lap and a half from now. So we're going to ride around under yellow to get to the end of the stage. Then they will wave the green and white checkered, score stage points, and then open pit road. This is an area that I wish NASCAR had the ability to end the stage early. They don't, because there's posted distances and fuel mileage and a lot of rules that go into it. I understand. Just, you know, sometimes you could just wish for things to fall your way, and I wish this yellow would have fallen at a different time, Jeff, than just, 2 laps before the end of this stage.
Well, that is unfortunate, but guess what? Every time somebody loses, somebody wins.
Yep.
Yeah.
There were some guys that were on pit road prior to this caution coming out. So Sheldon Creed had pitted, Tyler Reddick had pitted, Sammy Smith had pitted, John Hunter Nemechek had pitted. So if all these other guys pit, they're going to be leading this race. Now, unfortunately for Tyler Reddick, he's going to have to start at the back because he ran through too many boxes on exit. So that is a horrible penalty, Steve. You had an opportunity to take advantage of the caution coming out, and then you got penalized, and now all that's gone.
And we see cars go up pit road. I believe pit road is closed at this moment, looking at the red light flashing, so they might have to just do service.
They'll take another lap to end stage 1 as you see the left rear tire completely gone on the 0-2 of Brett Moffitt. We'll be back for the end of stage 1. This summer, from the biggest global animated franchise in history, comes the origin story of how the world's greatest supervillain first met his iconic minions. Minions, The Rise of Gru, now in theaters.
All right, so we just talked about Tyler Reddick in the 48 car and the penalty that he got for driving through too many boxes. Here's the rule. You can't drive through more than 3 boxes. So why is that a problem? We had 5 penalties here last year, and guess what? 4 in the Xfinity race at Watkins Glen last year. You're going down pit road opposite of what you normally are. The driver is on the left side of the car, so he doesn't even know where the right front is, and you accidentally drive through too many boxes. It is a penalty that happens simply because it's something different than normal. So Tyler Reddick's penalty was on pit exit, right? And he just cannot see from where he is. He leaves, and he just doesn't know that he's driven through too many boxes. So very difficult for a driver. You have to overcompensate, really, to make sure that you do not make that mistake, Parker.
Right, Jeff, and this put the team in an interesting position with those tires because these teams only have 3 sets, and a lot of the thought process was you wanted to save an extra set for that 3rd stage as far as you can go, so this looked like this was their choice of taking a set here, and then obviously not stopping in stage 2. Well, now that they've taken those tires, they've been discussing coming back down pit road, taking them off, putting the older tires back on, and saving those tires maybe for stage 2 since they haven't been run under green. So interesting discussions in terms of tire strategy down here on pit road.
With this ending under caution, we know for a fact that Kyle Larson is going to win stage number 1. He's got a very special paint scheme. This is the paint scheme that Ricky Hendrick had on his truck when he won 21 years ago, July 7th, the truck race in Kansas. And then Ricky we lost in October of 2004 in a Hendrick plane crash. And so many of the employees from the Hendrick organization had so much respect for Ricky. As a matter of fact, Kyle Larson mentioned, I hope at the end of this race, you will see us in victory lane. I'll have my hat on backwards and we'll be pointing up to the sky. Rick Hendrick obviously crushed at the loss of his son, but also there was 9 other employees on that plane that went down, like I said, back in 2004. So a very special time for Rick Hendrick, able to celebrate, and the organization shows how much love they had for Ricky Hendrick. So that's the paint scheme that's on the 17 for this race. And Kyle Larson, he just won stage 1. USA's newest reality series, Austin Dillon's Life in the Fast Lane, is coming up following our Xfinity race coverage. And be sure to catch the new episodes Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, only on USA. You're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series Henry 180, which has just completed stage 1. The field will be coming back around, and now pit road will be open. Steve, what do you think? How many takers will we have?
I don't believe anyone at the front is going to want to pit here. I know they want fresh tires, but now that the guys that did pit it all the way back here outside of the top 25, I think you'd be better off trying to save that set of tire, as Parker was mentioning earlier about Reddick. Speaking of Reddick, Jeff, he had that penalty for driving through too many stalls.
Yeah, let's go back and visit it. Races can be won and lost by a matter of inches. Remember, NASCAR owns the line. So 1 stall, 2 stalls. We're going to get to the point where right here, watch the right front. Boom, right there. So had Tyler Reddick been what, Steve? 6 inches further to the left, he wouldn't have been penalized, but because he's on the line going through that 3rd stall, the 4th stall actually, that's the penalty.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, right? Inches.
I
was getting ready to be shocked if everybody pitted. I would be staying on the racetrack. I love this call by the 54. I think that's the absolute right call to win the race. A lot of other teams obviously think different because pit road has become a very busy place, Kim.
And Cole Custer in that 07 you see right there will pit from the 3rd position. He has the first available box, which puts him on a slight incline. So his team reminding him, keep your foot on the brakes during this stop. He reported he just needs to be a little bit more snug in the left-hander's air pressure adjustment. The call is going to be 4 tires for Cole Custer. Marty?
So expect Ty Dillon, who stayed out, or Ty Gibbs, who stayed out on the racetrack, to go a little bit longer here into stage 2. Kyle Larson coming down pit road. Had a few comments about his race car, felt good about it, wanted to know where the 54 was better than him. Also wanted to know where AJ Allmendinger was. He knows that the 16 is coming up through the field. How about Riley Herbst up at the very front end of pit road there? Car's been pretty quick, struggling a little bit in the right-hander. 17 leaving pit road. So Steve, 54 stays out. When will they be on pit road?
Well, I expect them to try to run as far as they can in this next stage. It really depends on how fast this 17 is catching him. We see Larson first on, first off pit road. He'll start a little bit in the field.
We're glad that you've joined us on this 4th of July weekend for Racing from Road America for the Xfinity Series. And Road America just outside of Elkhart Lake, where right now Rutledge Wood is. Let's go to Rut City View.
Rick, amazing. I'm getting passed by bicycles right now. I was going to tell you a little bit about a different bike like this Harley right here. You know, Harley Davidson was actually founded in Milwaukee in 1903. And take a look at some of the beauty you'll find at the museum down there. It's a little bit down the road from us, but there's just history everywhere you see. Now, of course, we think our friend Kyle Petty has a permanent residence there. But if you come back up towards Elkhart Lake, you can also find an incredible museum and car dealership known as the Throttle Stop. Because racing's always been such a big deal here and around the town. Like, oh, look at this. Even a beautiful K&K car just passing us on the street. Man, there's history everywhere, you guys. But Throttle Stop not only is an amazing car dealership, but you get to go in the museum, see all these gorgeous bicycles, motorcycles, vintage that have been raced, and street bikes. But everywhere you look here, especially on 4th of July weekend, it is a beautiful time to throw a leg over that motorcycle, go put some miles on it, or enjoy this NASCAR race that you guys are calling for us. Having a great time down here, fellas.
Thanks, Rod. You mentioned Kyle Petty. I want to congratulate Kyle and Morgan on the birth of their third son. Devont was born this last week, so congratulations to our friend and colleague. As we see the field pairing up once again, 2 by 2.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting because the front group of cars didn't come to pit road. Then there's a small group of cars that were super lucky and they got to pit road before the caution.
Yeah, talk about pit road, how crazy it was. Well, Andy Lally ended up being sideways. He and Jeff Burton had contact. Andy Lally goes to turn in his pit stall, really late turn. Jeb on the inside of him has 2 stalls in front of him, didn't know he was going to turn, made contact. Andy Lally spun out on pit road.
Tough pit road, and we'll see how Ty Gibbs does. Now up in front of the field, Brandon Jones in the 19, that yellow number 19 on his outside. And guess who's toward the front now? A.J. Allmendinger running in the 3rd position.
So Anthony Alfredo made a hard right to pit road in the last minute. Had a flat right front we were in. Left front, I'm sorry.
He went by us. It looked like it was up. We'll see when he gets to his pit stall.
Look at Kyle Larson in the back of the screen right there, making it 3 wide in turn 1, that blue and white car.
Larson trying to move up right away after coming to pit road, giving up the lead. We started 14th.
You mentioned the lead. The battle is on. Ty Gibbs and A.J. Allmendinger. One started near the front, one started on the last row. A.J. has worked his way up through traffic, then chose to stay out, and here he is wheel to wheel with the 54.
For the race lead, Allmendinger. And you see the 54 bounce around as they come to turn 5. What a pass by A.J. Allmendinger. He takes the lead away from Gibbs. Allmendinger trying to make history in the series. No one has ever won 4 road course races in a row. That's what AJ's trying to do today.
You see right here, AJ made this move. Ty Gibbs trying to counter under braking. Big movement from Ty Gibbs' car there. He's able to get it under control. It's a good battle here. This racetrack, Steve, is very unique on road courses. Normally, if you get on the preferred side of somebody, you can take that spot. But we see a lot of side-by-side actions through the corner here. Marty.
Would you have to ever walk up to an athlete before an event and just know their focus? That was A.J. Allmendinger. When I saw him on the grid today, you knew he had to come all the way from the back to the front, and he's done that from last to first for the Dinger. But Steve, I have a question. Since they didn't put in a qualifying lap on this 16 because they had to change the entire braking system on the car, they in essence started with fresh tires for this race, and we know tire wear huge here at Road America. So how big of an advantage was that for the 16 to start on those fresh Goodyears versus the rest of the field who qualified on those tires?
Well, it's an advantage, but I assure you if they could have qualified, they would have. And so it is an advantage to have fresh tires, but you're not going to give up the opportunity to qualify just to have fresh tires. The 16 doing a nice job. So basically 13 laps in here, or working lap 13. These guys can go 16 to 18 laps on fuel, but you got to remember a couple pace laps, so that burns a lap of fuel. Really, the strategy for this 16 and this 54 is to run as hard as they can right here and try to get maybe 3 or 4 more laps and somehow try to stay out in front of Kyle Larson, which they're doing a nice job so far. Then they will pit, and that sets them up really good for the second half of this race, Kim.
Well,
Well, Brandon Jones running exactly where he told me he would be this morning when I checked in with him. That would be the 3rd position. He said this morning, we have a top 5 car. Yes, we're starting 14th, but that was my mistake in qualifying. Jones had worked his way up into the top 5 before those caution laps and those pit stops. They stayed out, gained a more track position. He's currently running in the 3rd position, and he's got a new voice in his ear this weekend. We talk about the number of spotters needed here at Road America because the length of the track. Well, his girlfriend Ashley is on the spotter roster this weekend. She helped them in practice and qualifying to get acclimated and is helping him around the racetrack right now. Jones in the 3rd position.
We're all married. We know how it works if your significant other is telling you how to drive. As we see a battle for the lead, and the 54 of Gibbs has taken it back away from Allmendinger.
Impressive move. I didn't see him having the speed to run AJ back down after AJ took the lead, but Ty once again is showing some patience. 3 wide, I'm not sure this is gonna work.
Larson locking him up back there.
He was under almost panic mode trying to get that car slowed down, but doing a nice job, although a little contact from the 26.
Yeah, John Nemechek was all the way off the racetrack trying to work himself back on. We'll go back and watch this battle for the lead. Watch Allmendinger. I'm sorry, this is the 3 wide action right here. Just everybody fighting for position. See Nemechek all the way off course. It's good hard racing. Watch this right here. Look at Allmendinger. Watch his car. He's not turned. He's in too deep. You can see him downshifting, fire flying out of the pipes. He just got in there too deep and tried to use the transmission to get himself slowed down, but just didn't do it, and that opened the door for Ty Gibbs. And Steve, remember,
Their stuff just looks so much easier to drive.
Remember, that's why this 16 car is in the back of the pack. Their braking system was not how they wanted it yesterday. They had to make a change, and that's why they're starting in the back. And now right there, once again, braking was a problem, and that's what lost him the lead.
And then we just heard him say so much easier to drive, so a little bit different from yesterday when they couldn't even qualify. He was having so many problems with the brakes.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was talking about his car or looking at the 54 saying that it was easier to drive than himself. That's what I actually think we heard right there, is him commenting on the 54. He believes his looks easier to drive than his own car. That's why the 54 is able to overtake him. I'm really just impressed with what these cars are doing on old tires, right? I mean, Kyle Larson in the 6th position has fresh Goodyear tires, and he's really unable to run these guys down right away. This is going to make me scratch my head a little bit looking towards the end of this race on how far back I would dare start with fresh tires.
Well, now Larson's cleared this pack. Now he's got clean racetrack. So let's look at some lap times and see what those tires are going to do.
Larson up to 4th now, right there in the 17.
Behind him, Sheldon Creed having a solid day. A former truck champion came into the Xfinity Series this year. That number 2 car really had high hopes, but just has not run very well trying to get that turned around.
Gibbs separating himself now from AJ, and almost a second between 1 and 2.
If I was one of the leaders, I think they're going to be looking for pit road here pretty soon. Gibbs, Allmendinger.
They're the 1.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. Great onboard camera right here, the 98 of Herbst, thanks to Monster Energy.
Kink.
You saw he missed his line a little bit. He wanted his right side right against that curb. It was about 3 feet off of it. Becomes much more difficult, Steve, as you're behind this close to other cars. Remember, he was running very well inside the top 5. Car off course. That 11 car of Hemrick, he's had a tough day today. Was running 4th, but just not the speed you would expect from Hemrick.
A little bit too hard into turn 12, so Daniel Hemrick is going to get overtaken now by Riley Herbst. Up front, Ty Gibbs. The young man's led in all 9 road course starts. Kyle Larson on the fresher tires has just overtaken Ty Gibbs. He now leads again at Road America. It happened coming up the hill after turn 14.
So with much fresher tires, Kyle Larson makes a big run, moves to the inside. This is heading up the front stretch, Jeff.
Yeah, there's really no defending it at this point. Kyle Larson with those fresher tires. Fresher tires accelerate better and they brake better, Steve. So once you get alongside somebody, Kyle Larson just can simply outbrake Ty Gibbs.
And listen, the 54 is okay losing the lead because they haven't even put a fresh set of Goodyears on yet. They feel really good about how long it took the 17 to catch them. I would expect to see the 54 to come to pit road very early. Probably in the next lap or two, they have to feel great about their strategy.
And Anthony Alfredo in the 23. Can he keep it out of the gravel pit? He does.
Looks like something, either a flat tire or a broken suspension on the left front of the 23. Remember, he was involved in an incident earlier where he got spun around.
And before this, the one of Sam Mayer coming into turn 5 also had an issue right here.
Yeah, once again, hits that curb in turn 5. Gets his tires on top of that curb, just like we saw earlier in the race, and now you've lost all grip. You know, I have to wonder also, guys, as people are watching this, you know, if somebody gets on the outside of you in turn 5, just don't give them room and put them on that curb. You know what I mean? And it really makes the car very difficult to slow down. You don't think driver, oh, look at this.
Yeah, that was Anthony Alfredo going into 1.
Yeah, the tire goes flat and he just loses control. We see the 17 leading right behind him, the 54. This is coming off the last corner. At some point, these cars are going to have to come to pit road. Great fuel mileage. There you go. There's the 54. He's going to be joined. I imagine we're going to see Allmendinger. Yep, there you go. The white with the green nose following him. Jones, the bright yellowish greenish car.
Number 19 on pit road as well. How many others will take this opportunity?
Well, there wasn't a whole lot that hadn't come to pit road yet. You see one more right there.
Marty.
Boy, if you're Chris Gale, the crew chief for Ty Gibbs, you got to feel good about how long it took the 17 to get to him. Also, A.J. Allmendinger coming down pit road this time as well. And immediately is interesting, Steve, Kevin Mandrain, the crew chief for Kyle Larson, came on the radio, told Larson, start saving fuel now. So they were running hard at the start of that run to get up to the lead. Now they're going to go into fuel savings mode a little bit. You see Gibbs on pit road, see his teammate Brandon Jones on pit road also, and A.J. Allmendinger as well. Those 4 fresh Goodyear tires will make them feel like heroes when they get back out on the racetrack.
And one reason I think that the 17 is going to go into fuel savings mode is now that they see that tires are an advantage, but maybe not as big of an advantage as they thought, that now they want to have the opportunity to only pit one more time. Because remember, you know, this stage is going to come to an end in 3 more laps. So, you know, these guys were able to run the entire first stage and most of the second stage on one set of Goodyear tires. Now they know the caution's going to come out and stack this field up. So now the 17's thinking to themselves, man, we thought we were going to pit. We might want to stay out and save a set of tires. So when we talk about strategy, it has to be liquid. You have got to be able to adjust on the fly.
How many laps can they go on fuel?
Well, I thought 16 to 18, but right there, we saw those guys run 17 plus pace laps. So, yeah, I think we're pretty close there. 18 is probably as far as they're going to want to go.
So lap 28, we would probably expect around there when we will see the 17. That's his new strategy, you think?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm guessing. We'll see what happens at the end of this stage. But if I'm Kevin Mendering, I believe I'm going to have to only stop one more time. Plus, I think you want a set of tires for late in the race. We saw Austin Cindric win from like 22nd here on a green-white checkered. It's 4 miles. The straightaways are forever. Look at this car right here. If you have way better tires, you can't block every single lane. So, you know, I think you're going to be able to move through. It took a while for the 17 of Larson, but Jeff, that's because I think he was being a little bit polite and saving his fenders. If it's 5 to go, I think he could have got there a little bit quicker if he had to.
Well, and saving his tires. Right? I mean, he understands the strategy. A lot of those guys were going to pit. So, you know, don't hurt your tires early in the run. Get by that mess that he was involved in. But once you got by that, kind of chill out a little bit and take it easy on those tires.
What has to happen?
You can fall all the way back to this 2. The 2 and the 26 still have to pit. The 7 is actually the first car that's pitted.
Tire carcass that's on the racing surface there could be from the 23 of Anthony Alfredo. Marty.
And then you heard the radio transmission a moment ago from Kevin Mandring. Hey, fall all the way back to Sheldon Creed, who is 3 seconds back. They want him to go into drastic fuel savings mode. So, Steve, I think they're trying to hop strategies here over to what everyone else is doing. So, Kevin not making the decisions alone. Chad Knaus on top of the pit box as well. So, Steve, is it better or worse when the boss is sitting behind you and you're making all these decisions to win a race?
You know, when I was on the pit box, I didn't know who was sitting behind me. I was focused on what I had at hand. So you look on the left-hand side. This is what Kevin's talking about. Larson was at last lap 11. Creed and Nemechek, Kevin Mendry, the crew chief for Larson, doesn't even feel they're racing those two. They are required to make 2 more stops. Larson, Allgaier, Custer, Herbst, they're going to try to do this on 1 more stop. To Marty's point, they're going to hop off one strategy train and onto the other. So that's the crew chief trying to back up his driver to save a little gas. We see right here the 26. We haven't said a whole lot about him. John Hunter Nemechek. We talk about all the Cup guys in the field. Well, how about a truck regular doing a nice job?
Yeah, just got off track a little bit there. We saw the dirt dust fly a little bit off the line here as well. A lot of pressure right now coming from Justin Allgaier in the 7. Allgaier and Nemechek running in the 4th and 3rd position. Allgaier trying to take that 3rd spot away from John Hunter Nemechek.
Well, you see right here this battle, Allgaier from the back, and then right behind these guys, we've got Cole Custer in the 07, Cup regular, and then right behind him, an 18-year-old making his first ever start. I mean, this is a mix inside we have a Cup champ to an 18-year-old making his first ever start in this 18 car.
Oh, Sammy Smith in that 18, that out of control right there. And really interesting story with Sammy Smith. He just turned old. He's just turned, had a birthday 2 weeks ago. Now he's old enough to run this Xfinity car. They do have driver development tests, but because he wasn't old enough to do it, and you have to run your test before your first race, he never got it. So he never was able to take advantage of that test. He's been running Trans Am races, trying to get ready for this road course race, but an uphill battle as far as experience, Marty.
And Jeff, get used to the name because he has 9 more starts in the Xfinity car in this 18 machine for the rest of the year. I said, are you up for that schedule? He said, yeah, why not? I'm going to tackle it again. 18 years old. Impressive here in his debut in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
I saw him down in pit road around qualifying, and Rick, we are old. His 18 looks like a very young man, right? He's a great behind the wheel, but it's hard to accept this young guy is just showing. I mean, look right in front of him. Like I said, the mix in this field is really quite remarkable. Yeah, but when they all put a helmet on, it's all the same.
Well, Steve, you got to remember, I mean, in Johnston, Iowa, this kid was just in high school. Yeah. I mean, so just out of high school, and now he's here wheeling a very big, heavy stock car against the greatest stock car drivers in the world, and the fact that Kyle Larson's on the same track with him.
What do you do with your butt? So what'd you do after graduation? Well, I went up to Road America, ran a race.
Me and Kyle Larson had a little race. You know, and what's, you know, he's winning races in the ARCA Series, and, you know, it's great experience for him. Now he's got to try to find a way to take that next step and run against these guys in the Xfinity.
Move right here, that 07 of Custer on John Hunter Nemechek in the 26.
It's by the 26 as well as the 7 of Allgaier.
And we've talked a lot about Kyle Larson, but let's not forget about that 07. He was on the pit road the same lap as Larson. He has good speed, so when you start looking at who you think is in good position to make a run at the checkered, these two on this strategy leading the way.
So even after Kyle Larson came to pit road, did the pit stop, he is going to win. It's like stage 2 as well. So we win stage 1, win stage 2. How does Ty Gibbs and his strategy, how does he get back up and contend for the win in this race?
Oh, he's going to be just fine because pit road's going to open here after the end of this stage. We're going to move right up with a bunch of cars that pitted in front of him. So he's going to have a lot of opportunity. As you see the 7 of Allgaier, we mentioned Smith, they're side by side to get in line for a tight set of corners. I like that scheme on the 7, the corn number. Pretty creative, whoever thought that up.
Brandt.
Yeah.
And coming up the hill for the final time here in stage 2, Kyle Larson is going to win stage 2. He's won stage 1 and stage 2. And by the way, a driver has never swept both stages on a road course and gone on to win the race. So could Kyle Larson make history? We could see that today, as well as A.J. Allmendinger. We talked about the history right now. He's won 3 road course races in a row. No one has ever in this series won 4 in a row. Rough stage for Sam Mayer, and ultimately Kyle Larson battling Ty Gibbs gets the lead back and gets the win in stage 2. visit goldfish-racing.com and download the app for free. And you have a chance to win race tickets, original racing gear, and more. Yes, that's goldfish-racing.com now. Let's check in on the Peacock Pit Box with Dale Jarrett and Brad Doherty.
All right, Rick, as we watch things unfold here, Brad, it looks like maybe the 3 quickest drivers out here might be on some different strategies, especially Gibbs and A.J. Allmendinger on a different strategy, kind of the same one against Kyle Larson, who has led a lot of this race.
Yeah, we heard the guys in the booth talking about Kyle Larson actually trying to save a little bit of fuel to jump strategies, to skip strategies. My question is going to be, though, DJ, that extra set of tires, who has them, who doesn't? When do you come for fuel? How does your strategy play out in this last run? Because it's going to go a little quicker than we think, I do believe, because it's going to be a lot of long green flag laps. So what position have you put yourself in as you come off pit road to be successful at the end of the day?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's a long time. We talk about this last stage, 25 laps here, so quite a bit longer than what they have run. Easy to make a mistake, overdrive the car just a little. We've seen almost everybody here. Who is going to be that driver that doesn't make that mistake and is on the right strategy? Should be pretty fascinating, guys.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad I'm standing next to you, Steve, because you're the one who can decipher all this strategy that's in front of us.
This is going to sound silly, but for the race fan, you got to have to kind of enjoy the racing and see what ends up about halfway through that next stage, because there's a lot of different ways to get there, and we don't know which one's the right way. Like, some decided to go the interstate, some decided to go the side streets. Right here, the 17 of Larson, as we thought, he's going to kind of jump over right here. And so now he's switched, and he's going to try to stretch his fuel. Some other guys that we said had to stop again because of the fuel will come to pit road, and you asked yourself, what does that mean? Well, right here, you're going to see that monster hood right there? That's the 54 of Ty Gibbs passing all those cars that came to pit road. Those are free spots for the 54. Kim.
We talk about the Cup guys in this race. There's also a Truck Series regular. That's John Hunter Nemechek in the number 26, pitting from the 4th position. You see his team going to work there. He said he just needs more lateral grip. He can't do the things he wants to do in the turns. Needs a little help, air pressure adjustment as they put 4 tires on that car. Marty.
Sammy Smith coming down pit road from the 6th position in the 18 machine, making a stop here. So, Steve, a lot of those guys up front save maybe more fuel than even we thought they were saving, like Sheldon Creed and Cole Custer and all those guys who pitted earlier on. So, going to be interesting to see how all this plays out, Parker.
Right, Marty, and how about a great run for Jeremy Clemens, Xfinity Series regular in that 51 car, pit out the 8th position there in stage 2, having a solid. Remember, he won his only Xfinity race here a couple of years ago. In great position now.
Looks like Josh Balicki, one of the first cars off pit road, hometown guy. We haven't said his name much today.
You had said Menominee Falls just a little while ago, though. drivers have won in 2022.
We don't have a 3-time winner this year.
You know how to play guitar?
It just proves how difficult it is.
9 races to go until the playoffs begin.
There's a lot of ways to mess up a 62-lap race here.
It's my favorite road course. It's just a proper track. This track has a lot of character to it, and it's so long, you have a lot of opportunity to make mistakes.
Chase Elliott wins at Road America.
Great drive.
And tomorrow, a busy day for NBC Sports. On NBC, it's the NTT IndyCar Series racing from Mid-Ohio. Then right here on USA, countdown to green at 2 o'clock, racing. And leading the field to the green will be Chase Elliott, who won the race a year ago. That starts at 3 o'clock. And the NASCAR America post-race show right here on USA at 6:30 to wrap everything up. Let's check in with Rutledge Wood in the City View.
Rick, there's so much history of the original road course here in Elkhart Lake. The hard left turn right up the hill, right by Sibkins. You take a look over here. The road course was come right by here. Everybody gets a quick look at the lake. And then they head over here left to what is now the Lake Street Walkway. Underneath this was actually the original road course. Now this is how people get down here, enjoy the beach, and it is a busy weekend for the 4th. Apparently, if you know Parker Kligerman, you can get anywhere in this town. We're headed to the Tiki Bar later, that's for sure, guys.
Well, we've talked about the double duty. Parker Kligerman falls into that category. He's doing television, but he also was a part of the Mazda race, finished 21st. Congratulations.
Man, Rudd, save me a seat. Man, that sounds like a great time. All right, we said let's get through the first and second stage, Jeff. We've done that. Here we are, 22 laps complete of a 45-lap race, and we have some groups. Let's talk about a group. Line above, Burton up to Larson. What do they look like? Creed, he's going to save a little more fuel than the rest. All of those guys are going to try to make it to lap 27, 8, 9 to put on their next set of tires. And while doing that, they're going to try their best to stay in front of this group right here, which has Gibbs, Jones, and Allmendinger on fresher tires. Below them, you see Balicki and Smith off pit road right now. They have an uphill battle. It's going to have to go. A lot of things are going to have to go their way. In my mind, there's just 2 big groups, Burton, right? You got Larson, Creed, Custer, and Allgaier in Group 1. And in Group 2, you basically have the 54, the 16, and the 19, Marty.
Let's chat with the guy who has led, the leader right now, Kyle Larson, Kevin Menring. Well, welcome back to the pit box, right? You've had everything today. You've led. You've had to get your driver to switch strategies. I mean, what haven't you done this afternoon on the box?
No, it's definitely been an exciting day. I just can't thank everybody back at Hendrick Motorsports and Junior Motorsports for all the hard work they've done on this HendrickCars.com Chevy. Yeah, these road course races are always nerve-wracking. There's a lot that can happen. Strategy's constantly changing, but hopefully we got ourselves set up for a good finish.
In your effort to kind of switch strategies there, did he save enough to kind of jump over to what everybody else was doing to run hard here?
Yeah, I think so. We got a little buffer there. He saved tires, and I think we're in a good spot.
All right, it originally started out as, hey, Steve, let's just go run a few laps, right? Let's go to Road America and get some experience. But Hendrick Motorsports here to win this afternoon, no doubt about that.
Well, you don't enter a car in the Xfinity Series with the Cup champ, with that paint scheme and the 17 without thinking you're going to go win races. I mean, their numbers in the Xfinity Series are impressive, but it's been a long time, all the way back since 2009. So if you're going to cannonball back in, you have to be good. Interesting point I was thinking as we were talking to Kevin Menring. One other thing, this is a great chance for Kevin and Larson to work together. Remember, that's who he works with tomorrow. Cliff Daniels suspended because of the wheel at Sonoma. So a lot of things being learned by Larson and his team.
Race fans, you can go inside the headset with access to NASCAR Scanner for only $2.99 a month. You can listen in on pit strategy and spotter communication, crew chief calls, the whole thing. Log into the app to use on mobile devices. Visit NASCAR.com/scanner today. You're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Henry 180, and now just coming up on 22 laps to go. Listen in to the 17 radio just moments ago.
Kyle, we're about 5 laps from the window, so we'll run hard here, get all we can get. If guys don't come right away, we'll just wait until we want to be on the front side. We want to give up track position, but we won't pit early by ourselves.
Okay.
If you think about, Rick, you've asked me all these questions. There's a lot. Imagine me and Kyle Larson. He's like, are we on the right strategy, the wrong strategy? I mean, from inside the car, I'm not sure anybody can understand. Basically, here's what you have. That radio was spectacular because that's Mendering saying, hey, go out and do our thing. I'd like to run a little bit longer if we can because I want to make sure I'm good for a green light checkered. Every extra lap's 4 miles. You want a little bit of fuel. The real point is right here. This group of cars. Forget strategy. It's time to see some great race car drivers, and this is what's going to happen. If you're the 54, if you're Allmendinger, you guys are the road course aces. You're here to do your thing. If I'm on their radio, I am on the whip. These guys have got to go. You have got to push that 17, not let him get out there and coast his way to the pit stop.
Yeah, those of you that haven't watched NASCAR races, figuring out how much fuel you have, difficult. They don't have fuel gauges, so that could be another question of not wanting to run it out of gas. As you see, the 17 cleaning the tires just a little bit more before they get the restart for stage 3 and back underway here at Road America.
This is what makes this front stretch so great. 2 wide, 3 wide, and figure out when to get on the brakes.
Remember back there in the 54, that black number 54, the Monster Energy paint scheme, fresher tires there for the 54. Also the 19 of Brandon Jones in the bright yellow, number 19. Fresh tires right there.
Yeah, Brandon Jones actually got in front of the 54. Now he's leading that group with new tires.
Larson just continues to do what Larson does, right? No, don't make mistakes. Don't lock up tires. Don't give up. Cole Custer right behind him, doing a really nice job, really all weekend in this car.
Steve, to me, the most important part of that radio transmission from Kevin Mendering to Kyle Larson was run hard. You don't have to save fuel. We're not trying to save fuel. We want lap time right now. That's really, as a driver, you don't need to know the strategy. You just need to know what is my job right now. And it was just go make lap time, get away from those guys behind you.
16 of Allmendinger. I mean, how do you win 3 road course races in a row? You have to be good at traffic. None of these races just run start to finish, ho-hum, you're the lead, clean air. That's never how these work. This man started all the way in the back. He's driven his way to the front once. Now strategy puts him in traffic again. He's just so talented, Marty, at setting up the passes, getting efficient through traffic without giving up lap time.
And the other thought on the 17 for Kyle Larson, Kevin Mendering, and Chad Knaus as well is that they can run hard here, as Jeff just mentioned a moment ago. And their theory is, Steve, when they come down pit road, they know they're going to be on the front side of it when you look at guys like A.J. Allmendinger and Ty Gibbs as well. But they think when they come down pit road, those fresh Goodyear tires are going to mean so much, they're going to drag everybody else down pit road with them.
So 2 points. Marty brings up a great point about fresh tires is the battle between Allmendinger and Gregson. Noah does a nice job. You can't fight off fresher tires. The other issue is, remember, they're not going to lose a lap. So if Larson pits, you run a couple extra laps and the yellow comes out, you've handed him the lead again. You don't want to do that. So it's not just fresh tires, but you're scared to death as a crew chief that if you don't come right away, the yellow will mess up your entire day.
See Noah Gregson right here. Spent a lot of time with he and his crew chief Luke Lambert yesterday. They've been working really hard on road course racing. Those guys are having a great time, love spending time with each other. See a battle right here. Allmendinger taking another spot.
Takes it away from Sage Karam as they're getting ready to go into turn 1 here.
Look at Noah, how hard he is under braking. Oh, contact right there.
Noah Gregson being aggressive, trying to hold off the 54, but here comes Ty Gibbs.
These two have had a few run-ins on road courses. That contact with the 45 of Karam really messed up Noah right there.
Oh, contact again. Josh Perry in the 8.
Oh, now
no.
Slammed into the side of him, and he spins Sage Karam into the wall.
What a move by that yellow car of Jones to miss the wreck, and here comes the rest of the field.
They can't see. It's smoke and dust all the way across. More coming in too fast, and more contact.
A huge impact to Tyler Reddick in that 48.
Drivers going through, trying to get through, but couldn't see, and a lot of contact. And we see Josh Bilicki taking the Sargento billboard with him.
I don't know if that's what Sargento had in mind, but it's good coverage. Good
so
coverage.
much damage. Look at all these
Yeah.
cars. And some cars rolled away with significant damage as well. Remember, this track is only 30 feet long, 30 feet wide.
See Bilicki making his move. We saw Moffitt and the smoke coming up from that. Daniel Hemrick, a lot of damage there.
This might be one of the biggest road course wrecks we have seen in some time. We talked a lot about spotters and blind areas of the racetrack, and I think that's what you saw, Rick, is you just, you continue to see smoke and dirt all day long, and now this time there are cars on the other side of it as we see. I think that's Brandon Brown.
Yeah, Brandon Brown climbing out.
Gingerly climbing out. Great to see him. Yeah.
Big hits.
Yes.
Big hits.
Huge hits. Tyler Reddick with big damage. It all started with Sage Karam and Noah Gregson going at it.
Yeah.
And
John Hunter Nemechek, a lot of damage to the 26.
Yeah, it's going to be a long, long list.
Oh.
Yeah, Brandon Brown down. You see him up against the wall as the AMR safety crew getting to him quickly.
Myatt Snyder coming to check on him.
Yeah, Myatt Snyder climbing out of his car to check on the driver of the 68, Brandon Brown. Again, this all started with Sage Karam, Noah Gregson fighting for the same real estate, and then it looked like tempers started to flare.
I think that's exactly what happened. Right here, Noah Gregson, real aggressive, underbraking, but has the spot. And Sage Karam on the outside. They drive into turn one. It's contact right here. Right? Now that's got Noah sideways. See, he starts to turn around, gets really loose. Now he's going to lose this spot to Ty Gibbs. And Noah's frustrated, loses his momentum. I think you saw his hand out the window right there. Upset at Sage. And then they go into this corner and contact again. And now, see this contact, they're banging into each other off the racetrack. And now Noah, I don't know if he had a mechanical issue or just hung a right in frustration, and that started this massive crash behind them.
Well, look what everybody sees, too. You can't see anything with all that dust.
Yeah, that yellow rear bumper you just saw come in, that's Reddick. You know, and he can't see where he's going. The rest of these cars are just kind of going into the dust, debris, and the smoke. Let's take a look at from this angle right here. You're going to see the 9 go around, the 45 go around. The 45 makes contact. I mentioned the 19. Evasive maneuver, does a wonderful job missing it. Gregson comes in, a huge hit for Myatt Snyder into the 10. And now we see Reddick sitting here and right there. I believe that is. Yes, that's the 68 of Brandon Brown. Nowhere to go. Heavy contact into Reddick.
That was a big hit, guys.
Yeah.
And, you know,
a lot of big hits.
You can see right there, they're sideways, and everybody behind them is just nowhere to go. And you look at all the dirt, the smoke. Visibility is about impossible. And they just start, you know, just coming into the wreck with no ability to see what's in front of them. Oh.
Yeah.
Brandon Brown was behind Sammy Smith. Sammy Smith went to the left, and as soon as he went to the left, that car was right in front of him. He had nothing he could do.
So we saw Myatt Snyder. We're going to ride along now with Ty Gibbs here. We saw Myatt Snyder ended up on the other side of the course as what Brandon Brown. Then we saw him run over to make sure to check on him. But take a look at what happens here.
It's turn 1 heading over to turn 3. So you see he gets through the melee. He's in front of it, and this is out the back. Now you're going to see this contact.
This is moments ago. Brandon Brown standing back up. Myatt Snyder over there to help. Such a big hit, though, for some of these drivers.
It's when you hit a car like that where they're up essentially stopped in the racetrack, it is a feeling like nothing else. Everything stops immediately, and it hurts every part of your body. It's just amazing what it feels like. And we talk about Cup drivers in the Xfinity race, and we never think about this part, right? So, you know, when you strap yourself in one of these race cars, it's not the safest thing in the world to do, and you expose yourself to potential injury. Let's listen to Sage Karam.
We're done. The 9 turned into me on the straightaway, man. That's so wrong. I'm so sorry, guys. The 9 literally just drove into me in the straight line. He just hard turned into me. Yeah, what an idiot, man. I'm so sorry, guys.
Well, I'm not so sure he's not exactly right. It looked like to me Noah got frustrated. All the tires, Steve, appear to be up on the car.
No, I have to agree. You mentioned we didn't know if something broke or flat tire because you just have no idea what goes on. But now as we see the 9 roll around under speed, to your point, mechanically it looks relatively sound. And it all started right here, right? This is in turn 1, and this is where the beating and the banging starts, right? So the 45 turns in. The 9 probably feels he didn't have enough room, and he is not just, well, you said it, right? His hand, I think, almost comes right there.
Yes.
Here comes out the window. And it's okay to be frustrated, but then they exit turn 3, and now they're heading down to turn 5, and there's some binging and banging. But then watch the 9. It just turns dead right on the 45 right here.
Yeah.
I mean, there doesn't look like there's any contact from behind that would force the 9 right. So it looks to me, assuming this car is right around fine under yellow, that the 9 of Noah turns right and collects the 45.
I don't blame Noah for being mad. Like, I thought Sage Karam was all over him, you know, in his door and inside of his car, but it's a long race. Like, you can't just hang a right on a guy, and now all of this damage. So that's a part where we've seen Noah. He's got to find a way to collect himself. He's got to find a way, if you're going to finish these races and win championships, to collect yourself and move to the next corner. Just continue on with your race and not get caught up and make a bad situation worse. And that comes with maturity and the ability. And I think, listen, Steve, I think that one of the best things that could happen for Noah is Luke Lambert.
Agreed.
Crew Chief Luke Lambert, very mature, very smart, can sit down and say, hey, okay, look, man, let's have a conversation about what happened right here and see what we can learn from it so it doesn't happen again.
Because, you know, to compound it, your frustration and your move wasn't just your car and Sage, right? You look at all the other cars that were involved, and 13. When they get out and see what happened, I'm sure they're going to be asking Noah, man, what happened? Like, come on, man. You know, your frustration got me into a wreck. It doesn't matter, Rick, we talk all that strategy and all those plans, and one yellow can change it all as these cars come around to what will be 19 laps to go. It is definitely farther than we think anybody can run on fuel, but who's willing to take a chance? Who's willing to risk it? Who's willing to come to pit road now, fill up with fuel, and bank on yellows or bank on cautions or hope just to get lucky? I think you have no choice but to give it a go. And there's the 17 of Larson, and I think he's going to drag most, not all, because there's Allgaier staying out, but Allgaier is going to be very lonely on the racetrack, Kim.
And it was follow the leader for Cole Custer, playing the same strategy as Kyle Larson, coming in from the second position for what should be the final stop of the day. And Custer said if he wasn't going to win this race, he was going to finish second to Kyle Larson. So we'll see how it plays out. It's going to be 4 tires for Cole Custer. You see him taking that drink of fuel, taking a tear off. 4 tires for Cole Custer. Marty.
Yeah, I think the 17 thought about waiting to take on the set of tires, Kim. Sheldon Creed also coming down pit road. This works out brilliantly for them because they were going to have to come down into green any moment now. But Kyle Larson very happy with his race car. See the 07 trouble getting out of his stall, has to work his way around a race car. So I think they thought about it, Steve, of not taking tires here, but got to take advantage of the caution while you can.
I think you're right, Marty. You have to. And now at this point is who gets good fuel mileage. You mentioned it. No gas gauges, Rick. I mean, from this moment, you see Kyle Larson off pit road, shut that thing off, coast. As few RPMs as possible. You see Alex LeBay, no tires, wins the race off pit road.
Xfinity Series cars on the racetrack. You see back in the background, go-karts taking advantage of Road America here. This aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. As big and massive as this facility is, pit road can be very tight, Steve, and we've seen Riley Herbst a couple times make it even tighter.
Yeah, here Riley Herbst is following the two of Sheldon Creed in, turns in way too early. He's the pit stall in front of him, almost hits the jackman, almost hits the tire carrier. Jeff, I understand that this is a mistake we've seen before as we ride on board right here, but there's got to be better communication between the spotter, crew chief, driver, and if Riley did know, then he has to do a better job as a driver. This is really unacceptable for a guy that has over 90 starts.
Yeah, well, he's on the left side of the car, so a little bit different, but last week a very similar situation where it's normal pit stops. I think that you're right, Steve. We got to have a conversation. Spotters got to get a little bit more effort into this and say, all right, Riley, the car that's going to be pitting in front of you, he is that one box in front, so you got to make sure you give him room, let him get prepared. You know, this week it's more difficult because he is on the left side of the car, and it's more difficult to see. But now that it's happened twice, they're going to have to get very proactive on this to prevent it from happening again. Those are people on pit road. Yeah, so he's going to be penalized here. NASCAR has a rule. If you impede another pit crew or if you put them in a situation from a safety standpoint, they can penalize you, and NASCAR is going to make the call here and say, hey, you put pit guys in a bad situation. That action was very dangerous, so we're going to put you in the back.
Yeah, safety violation. We see that when tires roll away or some other things, but as we just pointed out, 2 weeks in a row. So I have to agree with NASCAR here. I'm sure it wasn't on purpose. I'm sure it was a mistake, but that doesn't make it okay. And I believe that the safety of the drivers, the crew members, the safety workers should be paramount. And right here, this is NASCAR saying, Riley, you have to do a better job. You have to understand where you are in this situation. Parker.
Well, guys, Justin Allgaier is now your leader as he stayed out under those pit stops there. And I asked him and his crew chief, Jason Burdett, earlier today, when you have those decisions, do you leave it up to Justin? They said, no, Jason makes that decision. We'll take a listen what happened under this last caution.
If you want to prepare, I did give you my 5 laps that you said you needed, so that's why I didn't pit. You're good. I'm assuming we're probably going to be screwed here, though, huh? Well, maybe. Maybe not.
And that's the discussion. Where will they find themselves now? They're going to probably have to pit in the next couple of laps once we go green for fuel reasons. But Justin made that decision because he had not heard the direction to pit under this caution here. And so now he's the leader, but probably going to have to pit pretty soon, Steve.
Well, and the other thing that's not helping the 7 is, I think they were hoping everybody else would be really close on fuel, but as we ride in another caution lap, that's giving all these other guys to ride around, shutting the car off, saving gas, trying to get to a point where you see a few cars on pit road, one being the 18 of Smith. We've talked about his first start. This is probably a fuel situation for the 18, doing a nice job, but in the end, the 7's not out of it, but they definitely need luck to go their way on a few of these cautions.
08 of Andy Lally also on pit road. Ryan Sieg in the 39 also has come to pit road. You see a few cars over there on the side. The 9 of Noah Gregson's over there as well, coming off of pit road. We'll be back for the restart from Road America right after this. One of the favorites to win this race at Road America, A.J. Allmendinger, speeding on pit road. He'll have to go to the back for the restart. And let's go to the Peacock pit box. Brad and DJ.
Oh, man, Brad.
Oh, man.
One of the favorites here. I was looking forward to watching him drive his way back up to the front and be a part of this mix. I don't know if he's got any chance without a lot of cautions here.
You know, the only caveat is there's a lot of wrecked race cars, you know, and so if he can get himself in position to stay away from some of those cars, get past them easily, he puts himself kind of in a scenario where he might have a shot at the end, but he's just made it a very, very long day. He's already had a long day, worked his way up to the front. AJ's got a lot of racing he's got to do over these next 18 laps.
Yeah, maybe an opportunity to come to pit road, get enough fuel to know that you can get to the end and see if he can take advantage of that guy.
A pit road map.
And so they're 2x2 getting ready for the restart here at Road America.
So Rick, I don't want us all to get caught off guard, me included, but so we have a group of cars that pitted, probably think they can make it on fuel. Larson, one of the fastest, Gibbs right behind him. We had Allmendinger in pretty good shape until that speeding issue. But now, I mean, Allgaier's out there. We heard the radio. What was he going to do? Where's he going to go? It wouldn't shock me to see Allgaier pit. I mean, almost coming to the green. Like maybe he'll take the green flag. But I believe that he could almost turn right and pit right away. You see how much older his tires are. He was on pit road lap 11. Most guys around lap 26. So we'll see what he does here. But it's going to look a little crazy. The most important thing is now we get Ty Gibbs and Larson kind of lined up next to each other. We're going to see who has what.
Will he do it right here? No, he's going to stay out on the racetrack.
The reason I say right away is because, you know, on older tires, there is concern that you might not make it back after what we've seen for beating and banging.
Jeremy Clements in the 51 on the outside of row 1 as we get ready for the restart. And Jeremy Clements has had success at this road course. In 2017, got his first and only career win in the Xfinity Series as we're back underway. Now just 17 laps to go.
Great jump by Allgaier. You see that blue and white 17 of Larson. He thought about 3 wide in the middle. Now it's 3 wide on the bottom. Deep into the braking zone, trying to make those tires work right away.
Custer pushing the issue right here. That moves Ty Gibbs back behind Custer. Big move by that 07 car.
Look at Larson charging now, right on the back bumper of the 51. Look at this. Jeremy Clements takes the lead at Road America.
Great move by the 51 to take the lead.
You said it, Steve. Really old tires on that 7 car. It's hard to fight against these guys.
Kyle Larson trying to get out front here. He outbrakes the 51. He'll take the lead as they go through 5.
Don't sleep on Cole Custer. That 07, you keep talking about Larson, he says. I've been quiet all weekend long. I belong up here. He could have some. It's been a rough year for Cole Custer in the Cup Series. Definitely not what they've been looking for. I think this is important for this young man, not just for laps at Road America, but just a good run. Like, hey, that's Kyle Larson. That's the champ of the Cup Series. Go run with him, build your confidence a little bit.
I love that restart that he made. Jumped on the inside of 3 wide. That put him in front of Ty Gibbs. Now he can take the fight to Kyle Larson. If he can ever clear Kyle Larson, then he can just pace himself. We've seen Ty Gibbs. He's got a fast race car on old tires. Now both of these guys have track position on him.
Remember the start of the race, it was Larson, it was Ty Gibbs, and it was Cole Custer. They were all running up front, the top 3. You know, Cole Custer has had success this year in the Xfinity Series. He won in California to start off the season, finished 3rd at COTA, so he's had success in the Xfinity Series.
Let's not forget how great he was when he ran here full time. I mean, he was in contention. Big move by the 07.
Does he get him in Canada corner? To the inside, and Cole Custer.
Oh, he's not done yet. Larson's not done fighting.
What a battle, 2 wide.
Custer has a spot. Larson not wanting to relinquish it.
Yeah, but Larson's going to try to cross him over in turn 14, trying to get a little momentum going down this front straightaway. I don't think he can do it, though. I think Custer made that move. Now it's a matter of who can outbrake whom.
Will Larson look to the inside right away here in turn 1? He does. Can he outbrake him? Not going to be able to do it this time.
And as we thought might happen, the 7 of Allgaier did go to pit road. So now he's going to have fresh tires, lose track position, but more important than those tires, more fuel than these leaders. If this becomes a fuel mileage race, Allgaier will have an advantage.
And if these two continue to battle, they know that Ty Gibbs is coming up. There's no fuel savings out of these top 3.
No, this is full fuel burn right here out of these top 3. And that's the question, right? You talk about how you win races. Ty Gibbs has the opportunity to kind of push the issue, save a little gas. Like, you would much rather be the leader. So let's talk about third, how you can use that to your advantage. That's how. Let these two up here burn more fuel, kind of just keep them in touch. How about Jeremy Clements? Still right up here in the top 5, running 4th in that 51 car, right behind the 54. That orange and black car, a winner here at Road America back, I think it was 2017. Yep. Doing a nice job. Austin Hill in 5th. We talked to him last night. What did he say? He just wanted to run all the laps. He's doing better than run all the laps. He's doing a great job.
Well, he'd never been here before. You know, he said, I don't even know where I'm going. I'm completely lost on this racetrack. I think he found his way.
He did. We ran into him last night. He was taking in some of the Elkhart Lake cuisine.
A lot of ice cream being consumed by the NASCAR crowd.
I'm telling you, it was
long
good.
line. Want to take a look at the Toyota driver update, and it's 3rd place right now, 54 of Ty Gibbs. He's run up front. He's led this race. He's had the fastest car at different points in this race. The strategy was in his favor, and now it's almost equaled out because of the cautions that we've seen.
We really did. It was a lot of conversation and a lot of hoopla of when you should pit, when you shouldn't, and one yellow kind of squared the whole thing up. I feel like we just dropped the green, right? These were the same 3 that were up there then. It's funny how it always seems to work itself out.
The fastest always seem to end up front. And right now, the fastest is that 07 of Cole Custer, the 24-year-old from California. Just his 3rd start in the Xfinity Series, a full-time Cup Series racer. Cole Custer drives for Stewart Haas Racing on the Cup side, and it hasn't been a great year on the Cup side. So this is a great opportunity for him here in the Xfinity Series, Parker.
Right, guys, you mentioned a great run for Jeremy Clements, but just right behind him there is Alex Abey in that 36, who actually hit it for fuel on lap 26, which is the same as Larson and Custer, so could be able to make it there on fuel. He didn't take tires, though, crucially, so they still have another set sitting down here in the pits, but a great run for Alex Abey up here as he has himself in the top 5 position if he doesn't have to pit here and we go green to the end.
6 seconds back from race leader Cole Custer. Take a quick break. Be right back for Road America. Under 14 laps to go. It's Cole Custer, Kyle Larson, Ty Gibbs running 1, 2, 3. They have over a 5-second lead right now on 4th place. So these cars have separated themselves. The question now, as hard as they're running, can they get to the end on fuel?
Yeah, we've been listening in, trying to eavesdrop on the radios. We haven't heard anything specific or concrete, which doesn't shock me because the other teams are listening as well, so they don't want to tip their hand. But to your point, Rick, you know, it's fuel mileage is kind of simple. It's hard to go fast and save gas, and they're running a solid 1 or 2 seconds faster than the 5th car on back. So my bet would be at the moment, and we're not saving gas.
While these three have separated themselves moments ago, Kim Kuhn caught up with Myatt Snyder, who was involved in that very big accident. Here it is.
Myatt Snyder taking a huge hit during that incident on track. We couldn't see really anything. What could you see behind the wheel?
About the same, to be honest. So, yeah, it was unfortunate. I just saw a whole bunch of dust and kind of tried to get through it. I didn't hear anything from my spotter, so I didn't know if it was clear or not. So I kind of sort of tried to tiptoe through there, and obviously it didn't work out for me. So it's unfortunate. You know, you're kind of blind in that situation. You don't have anything to kind of tell you what's happening. But you know, we had a decently fast short launch Chevy Camaro, and I don't know if I'm just cursed at this place, but we seem to have speed every time I go here, no matter what car I'm in, and then I end up in somebody else's crash. So I don't know if somebody else was just being dumb or what, but you know, it seems to be the nature here. But just proud of everybody from Jordan Anderson Racing for bringing a great Chevy Camaro. Proud of Short Lunch for coming back for 3 straight years, and yeah, just hope we can have some luck next week.
Oh, contact right here between
Josh Balicki.
Yeah, Lynn Balicki's going to, I think, get the worst end of it because he has left the pavement looking for grip. It's not going to be there. He's going to go around.
A.J. Allmendinger looked very strong after the pit road speeding penalty that he had to serve that penalty. He started in the back and has made his way up to 11th, but maybe plateauing right there. Is there anybody else in the field that could catch these three?
With raw speed, no, but racing is much more than just how fast you could go, right? They have to manage their fuel. We don't know about that. All of the leaders have a set of tires left. If the yellow comes out, do you want tires? Do you not? 13 laps to go. We'll call it 52 miles, Rick. That sounds like a longer distance because that's what it really is. So while these three make it seem straightforward, it's anything but. We have seen these races get turned on their head in the last laps before. This could easily happen, but these three, speed-wise, are the class of the field.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Steve. This is a very long race, only 13 to go, but this track's over 4 miles, 14 corners, a lot of opportunities to make mistakes, a lot of opportunities also to hurt tires or save tires. So with coming to 12 laps to go now, who in this group has saved some tires so they can make a run with, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 to go, say, all right, launch if you've been saving tires and go try to get a win. I really feel like this 54 of Ty Gibbs, when the green flag dropped, I don't feel like he pushed as hard as these other two. Did that save a little tire that he can take advantage of later on?
And are they saving now? I mean, are we seeing the 17 and the 54 save a little bit? Cole Custer got out there at about a 6-7 car league lead.
I think they are saving a little fuel, a little tire, and just trying to count some laps down.
We saw Myatt Snyder run over to Brandon Brown, who gingerly climbed out of his car. He's been in and out of the infield care center, and Kim's with him now.
Yeah, and Brandon Brown taking a very heavy hit, struggling when you got out of the race car. What were you dealing with during the incident and then when you got out of the car?
Yeah, unfortunately, just hate that we got our BMS Team Chevy caught up in that, and our Brandon Spott's assigned Chevy. Just an area where there's no spotters and very high speed, trying to carry as much as you can, and caught the dust cloud. And yeah, I mean, looks like the 45 went around, a lot of cars went around. I couldn't really see anything until I saw the 48 when I plowed him, and just a real gut check. Lost my breath, and little kick to the area that you don't want to injure, and just a bummer that it ended our day early, and I just hate that.
You guys, Brandon Brown, okay after what was a very hard hit here at Road America.
It's great, yeah. Well, it's great to hear from him. You know, we saw him get out very gingerly, and Jeff mentioned it. You know, I know I'm guilty of just watching these cars time and time again getting in accidents, and the guys get right out, and that car, 48, was sitting still when he made huge contact. So great to hear from both him and Meyer. 2 big hits in that accident.
Cole Custer has a 1.1 second lead over Kyle Larson and Ty Gibbs. Caution has come out. You saw the 35 of Chris Dyson, the 44-year-old from New York, stuck in the gravel pits. Here is how this happened.
See, Chris Dyson just looks like some kind of problem under braking. Huge contact. Chris Dyson, a 2-time INSA champion, the 2021 Trans Am champion. Things not going his way today.
Yeah, you called it, Jeff. Looks to me like some sort of failure under braking. Maybe front brakes, maybe that's why it spun out. The rears did look locked up. We're getting late in the race. Equipment started to be used up.
And Sam Mayer was like, what's happening here?
Yeah. He come by Sam.
Chris is going to climb out of that car. And Steve, okay, now as the crew chief on pit road, what decision is the most important here for you?
Well, it really just comes down to, you would think that this yellow would allow you to save gas, so you probably can make it to the finish, maybe not overtime. So if you're going to come to pit road, you're going to get fresher tires and more fuel, so then you can make it to overtime. Let's listen into the 17 of Larson.
I don't really know what I need on the short run.
Probably be about that same length of run to end it here.
Just need a good pit stop, probably. Get the lead, just run a little harder.
All right, so basically that sounds like Kevin Mendrick saying, hey, we're going to come, get tires. It's going to be the same length run. The question is, does everybody come? Who stays out? I mean, every race, there's this moment in time. They all have a set of tires right away. All of the leaders think tires important, perhaps fuel as well. No takers to stay on the racetrack. So now it comes down to pit crews. Who's going to beat who off pit road? Kim.
And Cole Custer had a little bit of a slower stop getting out of his box the last pit stop, so they're looking for perfection on this stop. Cole was asked, what do you need out of this car? He said, guys, the car feels solid. I think I have something to win here. It's just going to be about out-breaking the competition. You see the 07 of Cole Custer right there. They will take 4 fresh Goodyears on that, as well as just a tip of Sunoco fuel. Cole Custer still finishing up his stops, Marty.
Boy, look at Kyle Larson pushing the edge coming down pit road. He was on the bumper of the 07. This is interesting because Ty Gibbs and Kyle Larson are right beside each other here on pit road. Ty Gibbs said, I just need more drive off. I can get to the 17, just can't get back to the gas like he can. Kyle Larson, you heard that radio transmission a moment ago. He's talking about losing left rear grip, and he said, I don't know what I need for this much shorter run. The race off pit road looks like Hendrick Motorsports, and Kyle Larson will win the race.
Kyle Larson won a Cup Series championship because his crew got him out in front of the rest of the field in Phoenix a year ago. His crew gets him out in front of the field here at Road America. Can he finish it off? Under 10 laps to go. So much exciting NASCAR action on USA. 7 of the next 8 races for the Cup Series will be on USA, and that includes the pre- and post-race shows also on USA. And then on the Xfinity side, 12 of the next 13 races on USA. Again, pre- and post coverage also on USA. Be sure to represent your favorite driver, and you can take advantage of amazing deals at the NASCAR shop. Check out the greatest selection of t-shirts and hats, die-casts, and much, much more. Visit NASCAR.com/shop.
The 07 of Cole Custer lost a few spots on pit road, and Jeff, it looks to me that most of it was exiting right here, just not a lot of room.
Yeah, Preston Pardis kind of shallow in his box. Cole Custer had to go around him, and then the stop before that, pretty much the same thing. Cole Custer again had to being impeded leaving pit road. I will tell you though, the 91 on that first stop was not stopped short. He was pretty far into his pit box. It seems like Cole Custer and his team could have stopped him a little bit shorter to give him some more room. The driver's cue is the pit sign.
Well, that's right,
Like,
Jeff.
where is the pit sign? That's what you hit. You hit that pit sign wherever they put it. That's your job, to get onto that sign.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at where the 07 ends up in the box, he has a lot of room. Your tail can hang out the back of your box, just not the rear tires. I mean, there's 5 or 6 feet. I mean, look at this car. These rear tires can go all the way back to this white line way back here. So, I mean, I know he's mad at the 91, but to your point, Jeff, the crew needs to move the sign back. They should have had the 07 stop 5 or 6 feet farther back.
He could have stopped much shorter. These are the shortest boxes on the schedule, though, at only 26 feet long.
It's Ryan Sieg, Andy Lally, Josh Berry. They are the 3 that stayed out in front of the field that came down to get tires. Larson being the first of them in 4th in that number 17. Look at him make the aggressive move already. 3 wide as they get ready to go into turn 1.
He had to make that move. If he didn't, he knew that Ty Gibbs is going to. Ty Gibbs into the side of the 08 car.
Now Ty Gibbs trying to force his way through as well. And here comes Cole Custer in the 07. Larson making quick work to get out front. Under 9 laps to go.
That 8 car has new tires.
Yeah,
so he's got damage, but he has new tires because he pitted on the green, Steve.
Yeah, he came to pit road right before the yellow came out. Great break for the 8.
Josh Berry.
Ryan Sieg in the 39.
Kyle Larson's gone. You can't even see him in the shot. There he is.
Little bump there from Cole Custer in the 07 on the 54.
But this is where we talk about lap count. I know it says 9 to go, but we're not at Bristol. This isn't, you know,
that's 36 miles.
Exactly.
9 to go.
Exactly. It is, you know, 20% of the race.
Custer's got to make this move work. No, he gets on the outside of the 39 to see. He went off course, and now look at all the spots that he lost.
Austin Hill in the 21 took advantage of it.
Yeah, and Austin Hill has new tires, so now Cole Custer has got to get by the 21, the 8, all on good tires. Let's go back to this restart. Larson made it 3 wide. Was afraid. I know what he was thinking, that 54 of Ty Gibbs would be able to get on the inside of everybody. Ty had to try to go to the middle as well.
There's the gap. Kyle Larson back to Ty Gibbs. And it's Josh Berry. Austin Hill has moved up into the 4th spot. Cole Custer is 5th.
Saw A.J. Allmendinger in that white and green 16. There he is coming into the picture, trying to get by Andy Lally with that right front damage. Allmendinger's thinking 9 to go. I've seen overtime finishes here. I've seen chaos. I want to try to get in touch with these leaders, give myself a chance.
Allmendinger scored now in the 8th position. Setting his sights on Ryan Sieg. Again, Allmendinger trying to make it 4 straight wins on road courses. Never been done before in the Xfinity Series.
Right there with him, that 18-year-old in the 18 car of Smith, right behind Allmendinger.
Yeah, very impressive first start for Sammy Smith.
Smoke coming out of that 2 car. See it?
Yeah.
Coming out of the pipes?
Yes, I agree, Jeff. It looks like it's out the engine of the 2 car. It's starting to become more and more prominent. You see the tail has, where it says wheeling, it's starting to change color. That looks like an oil leak for me. I'm not sure Creed's going to make it to the finish.
Yeah, Sheldon Creed, you see him really slow right now. Just has not been a good year at all for Sheldon Creed. They haven't had the speed that they need. Here you go, battle. Old Custer going after Josh Berry.
Contact made there. And Cole Custer takes the spot.
Great opportunity for Josh Berry right here, though. You see the damage on his car. Josh really had no road course experience coming into this year. Racing against these guys on road courses for the first time. Being able to race up in the front, that strategy they played, Steve, has worked out perfect. Now he can gauge himself, and he is learning a ton being able to race with these guys that run in the front.
Yeah, there's just so many road courses on the circuit. It's not something you can avoid anymore. You have to apply and to continue to try to learn, find some speed there. We see, oh, Alex LeBay, big damage on the left front. Parts and pieces coming off. The brake hose is what that orange thing is right there. That shouldn't hurt a tire.
It'll probably get shoved off the racetrack soon, as we see Josh Berry still able to hold off the 21 of Austin Hill.
Larson out there for a 2.3 second lead. We heard the radio, Jeff, right? He didn't know what he needed. He wanted track position, a good pit stop. We saw that great restart, but one position farther back, he doesn't have that opportunity on the restart. Pit crew gave him a shot, and now he's out here leading this race. Kim.
And if Josh Berry holds that 4th position, that would match his best finish at a road course, that being Portland, the last time this series raced rights and left turns. And you mentioned the learning. He specifically said, I am here to learn. Their goal is to learn as much on road courses as they can before they hit the playoffs, and they are certainly doing that here today. Parker?
Kim, the driver that's going there to pass him down into turn 1, trying to outbrake him. Here is Austin Hill. That 21 car doesn't quite get it done. Josh Berry hangs on around the outside, but another great road course run for Austin Hill. He had 2 top 5s in the first 2 road courses this season. Came in here, as you guys said, and felt lost. Had never been here before. He hasn't sounded very confident on the radio, but this team has put him in a great position to go and fight for a top 5. And he's kept it on the racetrack and is on his way to running all the laps, which he told us he wanted to do, guys.
Yeah, battling all throughout the field, riding along with Riley Herbst right here. You see Sammy Smith, the 18 car, sideways in the middle of the racetrack, and then look at damage with the Brandt car. See the hood all pulled up on that car. That's Miguel Paludo.
Austin Hill still not able to get by Josh Berry. You guys mentioned the lack of experience on road courses. Josh Berry was a late model racer until 2 years ago, and he got the opportunity with Junior Motorsports to run a few races last year. Was able to get to Victory Lane. They got sponsorship for him this year so that he can run a full season. But what a story Josh Berry has been, the 31-year-old with very little experience in these heavy stock cars and having great success.
Fun talking to Dale Jr. about Josh Berry. Dale starts smiling whenever he talks about him. So proud of the job that he's done driving at Junior Motorsports, all the wins he has. Good battle right here. Josh is learning a ton. Austin Hill, a really good road racer in that 21 car. He finished 2nd at Coda and 3rd at Portland, so Austin Hill knows how to get it done.
And we want to go back down to Kim. She's caught up with Sage Karam. He was very disappointed in what happened with Noah Gragson earlier.
And Sage Karam was part of that big multi-car incident. He voiced his displeasure with Noah Gragson on the radio. What happened?
I mean, I think Noah just got confused and thought we were in a corner, but we were actually on a straight line. So I'm not really sure. That was we got really lucky as far as all the drivers that were involved in that to not have anybody get seriously hurt, because that was ridiculous. I've never been turned into on a straight line like that in car racing ever in my life, and he just flat out turned to the right, and out of pure frustration, you know, it's ridiculous. And I think he tried to take, like, you know, officiating or whatever into his own hands, and you know, you can't be that heated while you're driving a race car. And unfortunately, he let his emotions get the best of him today. And you know, but I've seen that with him, and you know, he walks around like he's like the big man on campus around here and everything, and then he does stuff like that. It's just not a good role model. He is. Do
you have any plans to talk to Noah?
I mean, I think a lot of people have already spoke to Noah. I don't think Noah is going to change. The short time I've been in Xfinity racing here, I have not heard a lot of great things about Noah, and he has not shown a lot of great racing with me on track. So I'm not sure if we can change Noah. I think this is something that Noah needs to take a look in the mirror, and he needs to look at himself, and he needs to want to make a change himself.
Sage Karam, the 2013 Indy Lights champion. He's seen a lot of racing, doesn't race all the time in Xfinity Series, but obviously has an opinion here.
Well, you know, Jeff and I talked about it live, and Jeff, I can't disagree with what Sage is saying there. You and I both saw it. Looks to me like it's on the straightaway. Noah turns right and turns me. Have every opportunity to be upset. We talk a lot about Ross Chastain in the Cup Series and how other people are reacting to him, and now you hear about Noah. You heard Sage say that he has heard from many people what Noah is and isn't on the racetrack, and it sounds like in the garage area, from those words out of Sage, that Noah's starting to get that reputation. So it'll be interesting to see where it moves forward from here as the playoffs continue to approach.
Well, Noah and Sage can go back and debate about who is hitting who in the corners, right, and why somebody got mad. but there was never anything done at that point that would make Noah mad enough to do that. And that's where Noah's got to collect himself and say, hey, look, we got to get a big picture look. But Noah's got to, Sage's point, Noah's got to want to be better in situations like that. If he does, he can. But back to the racing on the racetrack. The lap before, Ty Gibbs ran about a half a second faster than Larson. That lap, Larson picked his pace up a little bit, but this battle's not over. Ty Gibbs is going to be pushing really hard right here and putting pressure on Larson to win this race.
One thing that makes road course racing so amazing is, when you get to an oval and you see a 1.9 second lead and you're thinking it's going to take something magical. 1.9 seconds here can be one missed corner, one dropped wheel, and I don't take the 07 of Custer at 4.5 seconds out of this either. Right? If Gibbs can run down Larson, you get a little beating and banging up here, you're going to have Custer right on top of them. So these three are definitely on the same straightaway. You see them, a lot of opportunity for mistakes. Now, we know Custer is fast. We know the 54 is fast. Larson is a champion for a reason, but, he's also running this race for a reason, to get more laps at this racetrack.
All three, no issues whatsoever about fuel. They came to pit road on lap 35. That's 10 from the finish. We know that they've got enough fuel there, fresh tires, so now it's just a battle of who can put the best laps together consecutively with under 5 to go.
And I want to take a moment on the left side. You see the rundown in 8, Riley Herbst. We pointed out the issue he had coming to pit road, and I was hard on him because I think he didn't do the right thing there. He has to do a better job getting his pit stall. NASCAR agreed. They penalized the 98. But we talk about emotion as a race car driver. Here's Riley Herbst, had to go all the way to the back. He has composed himself and driven this car back up inside the top 10. That says a lot, right? You can be mad about the penalty, or you can recover. So hats off to Riley Herbst. I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion about the penalty and what he could do different. But sticking with it, his team's going to appreciate this drive inside the top 10.
And on top of that, Steve has passed A.J. Allmendinger to get into 8th position. So Riley Herbst putting that behind him. Been a good weekend for Riley Herbst, as well as last weekend. Very good speed out of him, and now this weekend again.
I think you also have to applaud the efforts that we're seeing out of Austin Hill, that young driver currently in the 4th position.
Sammy Smith, we saw the trouble he had sideways in the racetrack, but he's still running 10th in his debut in the Xfinity Series.
On board with Herbst?
Yeah, on board with Riley.
He's driving hard, I can tell you that. You can hear him bouncing off the curbs. He's got 2 spots right in front of him that he could go get. Got Brandon Jones and Justin Allgaier get himself in the top 6. Let's listen to what he had to say about the penalty he received.
Is everybody okay, or did somebody get hurt?
No, nobody got hurt. They warned us on it last week, so it's a tough situation to be put in. We just got to get a little bit better at it, that's all. We'll work on it. If we need to do it at the shop, if we need to do it wherever, we'll continue to practice.
So that communication from Riley was, hey man, did somebody get hurt? I've known Riley for a long time. Riley's a good guy, very compassionate guy, a fierce competitor, but at the same time, he did not want to be in a situation where someone got hurt and he was checking on everybody. It's a horrible feeling, guys. Steve, I know you've been hit, and I've been the guy that did the hitting. And it is a horrible feeling as a driver when you come on pit road and make contact with a pit crew member.
And I love that support from his crew chief, Richard Boswell. Listen, we'll practice at the shop. We have to get better. But now the point is, we're not blaming you. We have to get better. I didn't say you, but the entire team. What can we do to help you? Take it back to the shop. We'll practice this some more. And as we were talking about Riley Herbst, Kyle Larson continues to put some great laps down, extended that lead to 2.5 seconds.
Crazy thing about Road America, a historic racetrack, but in the 12 races here, there has never been a repeat winner. Allgaier, he's the only one in the top 8 right now with a win here, and AJ is 9th. Marty.
Kyle Larson looks to be on his way to a win here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Over on the Cup side, remember his crew chief Cliff Daniels will be suspended for the next couple of races. Race number 2 of that 4-race suspension this weekend. Talking to Kyle about that, he said just listening to Kevin Menring, who's on the box today, will be on the box tomorrow as well, is so important for me. This race wasn't planned to be this way, but it's very important because the tone difference between Kevin Menring and Cliff Daniels. Kyle told me, I don't think you could pick two different guys. Cliff Daniels is rah-rah cheerleader. Kevin Mendering, very quiet. He said, this race is very important to me. Steve, you brought the point earlier. I'm just wondering how important it is for these guys to work together on another race, to understand each other a little bit more and hear each other on the radio. It's got to be so valuable.
Well, you know, Marty, we won't know what will come tomorrow, but a week ago we saw the Cup race come down to the decision to pit or not pit, and after most of the Joe Gibbs cars came to pit road, two of them had said there was some miscommunication. They wanted to stay out. I bring that up because that's how easy a miscommunication can happen between driver and crew chief. You come now to Road America, the biggest circuit, probably the least amount of pit stops you're going to do in a race all year long. That communication has to be rock solid. So if today's race and this time prevents just one misstep or one mishearing of the information, it's going to be totally worth it for Kyle Larson in this quest to defend his championship.
Yeah, so this is a Hendrick Motorsports car, and the last time a Hendrick Motorsports car won in the Xfinity Series, 2009 at Daytona. Tony Stewart behind the wheel. You see Rick Hendrick there with a big smile. It's a long time between wins. We know that Hendrick Motorsports and Junior Motorsports, they do some things together, but this car, Steve, was built in the Hendrick shop by the Hendrick employees. This is a Hendrick Motorsports car.
Yeah, they wanted to get some laps, so they reached out to their friends at Junior Motorsports. Say, you know, we'd love to drive. And the poor Junior Motorsports said, hey, so, you know, we have Miguel Paluda. We have 5 cars in this race. We're not sure we can support 6, which just shows you that's great leadership at Junior Motorsports, where they're, as much as they want to help, that doesn't help their efforts, so they took it on in-house. I asked Kevin Mendering, and he had a great story because he said he got called into Chad's office, sat down, and it started with, so I think I have a great opportunity. And Kevin said, I didn't know what was coming next, but I didn't expect it to be some Xfinity Series start with Kyle Larson.
Yeah, Kyle Larson behind the wheel, the 17. Again, the number very important. That was Ricky Hendrick's number when he ran the Truck Series race. It's the same paint scheme when he ran the Truck Series race at Kansas. Got that first NASCAR win for Ricky Hendrick. Again, a Hendrick car, Xfinity car, has never won on a road course.
It's really good information. Hey, just focus on what's out front. We're a couple tenths faster that lap. Keep doing what you're doing.
8 miles still in front of him, though. That's 2 laps to go here. And a lot of turns.
You know, and there's an impact to the rest of the cars, right? Ty Gibbs right behind Kyle Larson. Remember, he's, you know, leading the playoff standings for Xfinity, and there's some playoff points he probably would have liked to get today, but Kyle Larson kind of gobbled them up by winning both stages. You look at the 19 of Brandon Jones, running 6, Rick. It's a great run for them.
And Brandon Jones won at Martinsville early this year.
Take a look at the playoff standings. You saw those drivers in yellow that have won that will advance. Larson not eligible. Oh, and around goes the 07 of Cole Custer. A lot of damage to the front of that car.
A big impact for the 07.
That's in turn 5.
And we're seeing a little bit of flames out of the hood. Kim, caution is out.
And a lap before that, Cole Custer came on the radio and he said, guys, I'm losing my brakes. The brakes are absolutely fading. And then right as the incident happened, guys, they exploded on me. The brake rotors exploded. That's Cole Custer in the 07.
We've seen turn 5. It's been described by many different drivers as the longest braking zone, the hardest braking zone. It's that downhill one you described to the left-hander, Jeff. We've seen some issues there today. This caution did come out before the white flag, so we will see some more laps and some more racing and a restart.
Yeah, the AMR safety crew there immediately to Cole Custer. You have to wonder if the brakes were going out, and as you mentioned, 5, you're so fast coming into that turn. If he didn't intentionally turn it into the wall, we saw that damage to the front of the car.
Yeah, hugely disappointing finish, but a very solid weekend and a lot of experience gained. We see right here, it's big contact, Steve, to the wall.
And to Rick's point, that's driver's left. So he didn't go straight through the corner with no brakes. He's definitely turned to the left. So we're not sure how he got there, Rick, but to your point, whether it sounds like it was a brake failure, you assume it's fronts that would overheat. That would usually spin the car out, rear's locked up, maybe turned it left, maybe he chose to go left. You see the left rear tire missing. That probably spun out through the, you know, really spectacular that no one else was coming to spin across the track like that.
And could a brake issue eliminate that left rear tire? I mean, could there have been an issue with that?
You see Chad Knaus.
Yeah.
He has a smile, but he knew it wasn't going to be that easy.
They're never easy, are they,
They
Steve?
are never easy.
And what I was saying about Cole Custer, you know, clearly not the finish they wanted, but still a ton of lap time to prepare for the race tomorrow, trying to get themselves higher up in point in the Cup Series. So poor finish, but really they got done what they wanted to get done. Ran well, led laps, just didn't get the finish they deserved.
Yeah, to your, you know, if I'm anyone on the Cup side for Cole Custer, I'm pumping him up from this race. The finish has nothing to do with it. So let's take a look at the race here from Road America. There's been a lot of excitement. It starts with Kyle Larson on the pole, gets a great start, leads laps early in this 17 car. See Ty Gibbs right behind him.
Landon Castle getting run off course. And Andy Lally and Anthony Alfredo making contact.
With that, stage one goes to Kyle Larson. Sam Mayer, this is that same turn 5. We just saw the accident. He got driver's right, heavy contact into the gravel, and then some great battling continued between the 17 of Larson and the 54 of Ty Gibbs.
Kyle Larson winning stage 2. And then the big one. Noah Gregson inside of Sage Karam, and then people behind him couldn't see, nowhere to go. Major impact right here. Brandon Brown feeling the pain from that.
AJ Allmendinger on pit road, too fast exiting. You saw him kind of jump out to try to beat that 07. Caught speeding, that put him in the back. And then this move by Kyle Larson, 3 wide on the restart. Threading the needle, gave the 17 the lead.
Most recently, the 07 of Cole Custer into the wall in turn 5, bringing out the caution. Kim.
And just checked in with the crew of the 07 of Cole Custer, and they did confirm it was a brake issue on the Cole Custer machine.
All right, they're towing him behind the wall, getting ready for the overtime. Marty.
Let's chat with Chris Gale here. So how do you coach your young driver to go out there and beat a Cup Series champion on a restart?
It's a great opportunity for him, isn't it, man? Think about being a 19-year-old kid and having one of the best in the sport that wins in so many, and he's got the opportunity to go out and beat him. We've talked about this a little bit, you know, and just talked about the opportunity to do that and to race against the best, and that's what he's getting to do today. So I think he's up to the challenge. We'll see, man. That last restart by Kyle Larson, that separated us, right? And then we were able to maintain. So I'm optimistic he can go get it done here.
Yeah, you and I just watched that race recap, and you watched the restart again, and you said, wow. What do you think you learned from watching that?
Well, I mean, I think obviously Kyle knew he needed to go there to get away from Ty. So you have that opportunity with old tires and cars around you on old tires. This will be totally different, right? This will be same stuff. Everybody's got it. Let's see how turn 1 goes, right?
Boy, what would it do for his confidence if he can pull this off?
You know, I think even just running with him all day, knowing that he could maintain and run with him at this level is a confidence boost for him. So to win it is just even a bigger boost.
There you go. So Chris Gale hoping his driver can pull that off, but that restart still impressive, even on replay, Rick, to see what Kyle Larson did on the last restart.
Definitely impressive, Marty.
Yeah, and Rick, really, I'm excited to see this race, but Jeff, perhaps more than anything, I'm excited to see how Ty Gibbs chooses to race Kyle Larson. Much has been made this year about Ty Gibbs and his aggression, contact with teammates. At Richmond, he's definitely upset some people in the field. Does he look at Kyle Larson as this champ that he has to race different, or are we going to get the same aggressive Ty Gibbs?
Well, the first thing you have to think about as a driver is, what's my job here? The first thing he's got to do is got to get a great launch. He's got to understand in time when Kyle Larson goes. If he can enter turn 1 with Kyle Larson, then yes, you're going to see Ty Gibbs get very aggressive. And by the way, Chris Gale, this win's big for him too. Remember, he was a Cup crew chief. They moved him to Xfinity. He's trying to work himself back into the Cup Series to be a crew chief. Winning matters, and it could give Chris Gale another opportunity.
Let's check in with the Peacock Pit Box. All right, guys, enough chaos. Woo! Brad, DJ, what do you think?
I tell you what, so we've all covered ad nauseum Larson Gibbs. What about if you're Austin Hill, DJ? You're sitting there third. What do you do? What do you expect when this restart happens?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that he can do is just concentrate on what he has to do. If the two guys in front of him happen to get racing and a little beating and banging, then you might be there for an opportunity. But he has to get a good launch and find himself in a position if those guys get to racing really hard. Now, what will Ty Gibbs do? You know, first off, I don't know that he needs any more confidence. We keep talking about giving him confidence, but I don't know that he needs any more than that. To me, this is one of the most impressive. He's had some great, impressive wins so far. This might be the most impressive race. When you're going up against the Cup champion in Kyle Larson, toe-to-toe with this, he's done an outstanding job here. I think the thing to do, race hard, finish it off, don't crash you or Kyle Larson in this scenario. Race him hard, get all that you can get, and I think it'd be a great battle.
Oh, I agree, but I disagree. Dump him. If you get a chance to dump him, dump him. Take the trophy. Take the trophy, Rick.
Doesn't surprise me at all, Brad. Does not surprise me at all. Remember, next up, it's going to be NASCAR America post-race show, followed by Austin Dillon's Life in the Fast Lane. All right here on USA. Kim.
And Jeff Mendering calls the shots for Brandon Jones. And Brandon told me before the race he was a top 5 car. Well, you found yourself in the 5th position. What do you guys have for the closing laps here at Road America?
We've been catching those 2 cars ahead of us about a second a lap over the last 3 or 4 laps. So, and close to matching lap times of the leader. So I feel pretty confident here. We'll see what happens. We lost a few spots there that last restart, so we had to work our way back up. So I think we have something for him.
You mentioned lost a few stops on the restart. What do you do differently? What does Brandon do differently for this restart?
We just got stuck behind a car that didn't have tires, so that we won't have that scenario again. So I feel good about it.
All right, Mendering feels good. We'll see what happens.
If you're asking yourself, that name sounds familiar. Yes, Kevin Mendering on Larson car and Jeff Mendering on the 19 car. They are brothers. Both started their career at Hendrick Motorsports. One an engineer, one a car chief. So a lot of racing blood in that family. 2 very, very talented men on top of the pit box.
And Steve, you see an overtime, and this is the 5th overtime in 2022, and all 4 prior went multiple attempts. So there's nothing to say that things aren't going to get more dicey as we move along. And let me tell you something, Brad. You're talking about dumping. When you're 7 feet tall, you can act like that. When you're normal size, you got to defend yourself and fight after the race. So it's not fair for you to say dump people.
But he does have an open mic, right, Brad?
I was waiting to hear this defense from the pit box.
There's no defense.
Drive it in the corner, and when it's over, leave your helmet on.
Well, at 7 feet tall, you wouldn't have to.
That's right, at 7 feet tall.
He'd be punching me in the belly button.
Yeah, at 7 feet tall, I can't hit you in the head anyway.
Remember, a minimum, and I'm saying a minimum of 8 miles of racing still in front of us.
Oh.
So
14 corners.
Green, white, checkered.
Hey, I want to listen. Do not count out Austin Hill. Austin Hill, we talk about aggressive drivers. Austin Hill is an aggressive driver. That's who he is. He goes and gets after it. He's going to push the issue here. There's a chance to win a race against Ty Gibbs and Kyle Larson. This is an opportunity for you and Josh Berry, Steve. Josh Berry, hey, man, he has not had the speed to win this race, but anything can happen on a late race restart.
And the other thing is, look who's up here as well in the 7, Justin Allgaier. Right, Parker?
Right, Rick, and think about this. Remember back at stage 2, he didn't pit when all the leaders pitted, when he was in 4th place, went all the way to the back and has worked himself all the way just outside the top 5, and very calm and happy with that race car right now. And as you guys mentioned, there's a lot of opportunity here. If people get aggressive, Justin Allgaier could be in a good position, Marty.
Hey, Parker, we wondered the mindset in the 54 camp. Well, a moment ago, Chris Gale, who we just talked to, also talked to his driver on the radio. Listen in.
Hey, man, get your mind right. Moment's never too big, right? You got this no matter what, okay? That's why I have a really small speech. I don't go into real deep ones, okay? You know what you got to do. Okay.
Good stuff from Chris Gale. And in the off week, Steve, they had a long conversation, long meeting where Chris Gale told Ty Gibbs, listen, I don't want you to change who you are. I want you to be aware of your surroundings a little bit more, but I don't change your aggressiveness. I think he's certainly aware of the bigness of this moment trying to beat a Cup Series champion.
Well, and I believe that support from a veteran crew chief does affect a young driver like Ty Gibbs.
What an incredible race this has already been here on USA. Think about what's happening next week. We go to Atlanta for the Xfinity Series. That's going to be another great battle again on USA.
So I have a feeling that phrase, the moment's never too big that you just heard Chris Gale say, that's not the first time they've heard that.
No.
Like, that was something he was reminding him of. They've been preparing for this moment. Ty Gibbs and Chris Gale, this is an opportunity. You heard him say it. This is an opportunity, and they have been preparing for this moment. Chris Gale has been a huge part of the success of Ty Gibbs. They're doing this together.
And Rick, you know, I can't say this enough. The size of this track, the corners, the chaos. We talk Larson, Gibbs, Hill, Barry, Jones, Allgaier. I'll go further. Herbst, Smith in his first ever race. You know, I know that sounds like a stretch, but if it can happen anywhere, Daytona, Talladega, and Road America, I kind of put all three together because this place is like a speedway. The laps are so long, momentum comes. If it's paved, they're going to use it. Perhaps if it's grass, they're going to use it. Probably try to avoid the dirt.
Hey, so Rick, coming to the green, what's everybody's job? Kyle Larson's job is to try to trick Ty Gibbs into when he thinks he's going to go. Try to give him a little fake. Maybe push a clutch in, give it a little bit of gas, make Ty Gibbs think, oh, he's going. So right now, Larson's trying to play a little bit of games with Ty Gibbs, and it's Ty Gibbs' job to try to guess, when is he going to go? I got to enter side by side into turn one with Larson.
First attempt at overtime, presented by Credit One Bank. We have Kyle Larson, Cup Series champion. He's won stage 1 and 2. No one has ever swept 1 and 2 and then went on to win in a road course race in the Xfinity Series. On his outside, the 54 of Ty Gibbs. It's been said he's an aggressive driver. How aggressive will he be? It's overtime at Road America.
Great launch by Ty Gibbs.
Ty Gibbs the advantage as they go into turn number 1. But now here comes the 17 back. They break side by side through 1.
This road course like no other. You can run side by side in these corners.
And look at Josh Berry in the 8, all the way up to 3rd. Now a little gap between the 17 and the 54 as they go into turn 5. Heavy braking area right here. Larson perfect through that turn. The fight for 4th behind them. Austin Hill, Justin Allgaier. They were door to door. Now Allgaier has the advantage. We're just behind Austin Hill. And there's AJ Allmendinger in the 16 coming into the picture.
Remember, they have to get all the way back around to the white flag for this attempt to be official. They're still 2 miles away as the 54 drops a tire into the dirt.
Ty just pushing as hard as he can, trying to run Larson down. Ty did everything he could on that restart. He had a great launch, just couldn't execute it in 1.
Another great turn there for Larson. Coming up on Canada Corner in turn 12.
What a great shot.
See how close the 54 can get to the back bumper. The 17 under braking down to 1 car length, and as they accelerate,
he gained a massive amount right there, Steve.
He absolutely did. Remember, 4 miles left when they see the white. They're coming to the last right-hander. Now they'll climb the hill to the start-finish line and see that white flag. Another big gain by the 54.
Larson missed that corner. He did not hit his apex the way he needed to. Now Gibbs has some forward momentum.
Does he try to outbrake him? Now, 1 lap to go here at Road America.
See Larson blocking a little bit.
And that defensive move kind of opens the door. The 54 goes to the outside. Will he cross him over?
He puts the bumper to the back of him. Now, another piece of contact. Ty Gibbs got into the right rear quarter panel.
You heard him lift, though. Larson misses his corner again. Ty Gibbs underneath him.
Ty Gibbs completes the pass. He's leading at Road America.
And so much was made about aggression. The cleanest pass perhaps all year by the 54. So impressive pass in the Cup champ.
To the point he had Larson in trouble. Could have stayed in the gas and spun him, and he didn't. He lifted and lived to fight another day and then passed him in the next corner.
Here comes Larson. He fights back. A good turn again by Ty Gibbs. Now through 8. Coming up on the carousel, we've seen the 17 sliding almost sideways as he makes this big sweeping right-hand turn.
From the moment Ty Gibbs got an Xfinity car on a road course, he was a natural, he was fast. He has spent tons of time in go-karts, old road courses, preparing himself for this. All of that work has got him ready to win this race today.
Here he comes, Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson. Larson's closing the gap.
Canada corner, the next big braking zone as they enter the backstretch. They have the kink and then down to heavy, heavy braking. That's where Gibbs is going to have to defend. Conservative through the kink, and that gives Larson a little bit of a run. Will Larson pull out a line? It's a great look. Let's see what kind of run he has.
You mentioned it, Steve, a heavy braking zone. They're approaching right now. Larson trying to take advantage of it.
Will he cross him over? He's to the outside now through turn 12. Still Gibbs with the advantage, and he pulls away a bit. Ty Gibbs, an amazing pass on the 17 of Kyle Larson, and he's holding him off. The final turn. Ty Gibbs up the hill. And an amazing run for Ty Gibbs. He's going to win at Road America.
Ty Gibbs. Woo! Thank you. I'll go ahead, guys. Thank you, guys.
Chris Gale, his crew chief, told him no moment's too big. Ty Gibbs proved him right. He's ready for it. The opportunity presented itself. Ty Gibbs took that win and did it clean.
Chris Gale said it perfectly. What an opportunity for a 19-year-old to be going up against one of the best stock car drivers in the world and have an opportunity to win. And that's exactly what Ty Gibbs did. He took advantage of that opportunity and he passed him clean and he pulled away.
I think that's the biggest thing. We talked about it, you know, how our drivers perceive. There's been a lot of conversation about Ty Gibbs. Well, he had the chance to go up against the biggest, the best, right? The Cup champ. And there was a chance. There was an opportunity there to not do it clean. They stacked up, right, Jeff? That bumper was right there, and he did it, I mean, as clean as I think I've ever seen him do it. What a win.
Don't get stuck in the sand trap after the race.
Over in turn 5, the grandstands over there. A lot of the fans able to watch and enjoy this burnout.
What a finish.
4th win already this season for Ty Gibbs.
I mean, I'm trying to go back. It's been a very young career, but this has to be the biggest of them all. I mean, I know your first is probably always going to feel that way, but I mean, Kyle Larson is, I mean, he's the talk of the town the last 2 years. Kyle Larson's the guy you have to beat.
Look, guys, I feel like he's done this before. Think about it. Who did he beat to win his road course races? Cindric, Allmendinger, and now Larson. I mean, he's beaten some of the very best to win these races. This isn't a major surprise. It's shocking that a young man can be that good that early, but he's proven that he can do it.
He's definitely got enough tires to do a burnout, Steve.
It's impressive. Jeff, you mentioned it earlier, what it was like to have, you know, the Cup stars in the race, and I just have to think that's what Kyle Larson added to this show today, right, is he came to get laps, but him being in this race elevated the stage for Ty Gibbs, perhaps to your point, Jeff, to just prove once again how good he is.
So many questions initially when he came into the series. The grandson of Joe Gibbs, getting great equipment. But right here, it proved talent was what got him the win here. Going up against the very best in the Cup Series. And look at the emotion out of young Ty Gibbs. This was very big for him. Parker.
And guys, with the most epic burnouts I've ever seen in my life, I think this crowd has ever seen down in turn 5. Ty Gibbs, at 19 years old, You just beat a Cup Series champion in a head-to-head battle. How did you do that?
I don't know. I just want to say all glory to Jesus Christ. I want to say thank you to my team, Monster Energy. I had a fun time racing with Kyle. I thought it was going to get a little rough there, but you know, he's such a great competitor. You know, he's a good person. So, and we played golf the other day, so I want to tell him thanks for the golf lessons. I still suck, but you know, thank you so much. This is just awesome. I can't believe it. You know, this is just wonderful.
And you made that pass cleanly. We saw so much aggression, so much bumping out there, but you made that pass cleanly. How did you do that? It almost looked like you got him into a mistake a little bit.
Yeah, you know, I feel like we were a little bit faster in the first half of the track. The last 2 sectors, I feel like we were not as fast, you know, but I feel like, you know, right now I just need to earn respect back, and that's what I'm doing. I feel like I've got my lesson, so I just got to learn and not make mistakes. I made plenty of them today. I thought I lost the race on that wrong restart, so thankful to get this one back, but, you know, I still got to work on this first initial and then the second to last one.
Your crew chief, Chris Gale, mentioned no moment is too big. What kind of mental attitude did that put you in to go get that win?
I mean, it's awesome, but I feel like, you know, for me, I just stayed, you know, plateaued the whole time, and, you know, hopefully a lot of people were watching. You know, it's a cool to be here, cool to race against a Cup Series guy, so hopefully that says something, but, you know, I'm thankful to where I'm at.
Guys, you can just tell how excited he is down here, and this crowd was pumped seeing this burnout. Woo. What's up, bud? What's up, bud?
So let's go back and watch the pass for the win for the race. So they drive into the corner. You see Larson takes a defensive posture, and now Ty has momentum on him. Ty right here pulls to the inside. Larson comes down. Ty lifted. He lifted right there. He could have spun him, and he didn't. He lifted, said, I'm going to fight the next corner. Larson overshoots that corner. Ty Gibbs drives away. We talk about how rough he is and all that. That right there was maturity and a very smart decision, and went on to win the race.
There's no better view. Let's go in car and listen to Ty Gibbs' option here and what he does with the throttle. Right there, out of the gas. The 17 was blocking. In my opinion, the window was open. He could have defended his move if he would have sent the 17 off. You know, people wouldn't have liked it, some would, but it was a defendable move. He came down, I hit him. You heard in his interview, he's been hearing the comments. I hope I gained respect today. He did for me. This is the type of race car driver I like to see. And I'll tell you, this is what I'd like to see out of Ty Gibbs, because I think he can go a long ways with this type of respectable racing. Marty.
A terrific effort from Kyle Larson, Hendrick Motorsports today. It comes up 1 lap short, so kind of walk me through how Ty Gibbs was able to get by you.
Yeah, he did a really good job, and it really started with my final corner there coming to the white. I didn't get through there very good, and got I think a little bit tight and missed my apex and was late back to the throttle, and he had a run on me down the front stretch. So I obviously kind of had to protect the inside, and it just got my angles messed up for those 2 corners. So yeah, he did a really good job executing, and I didn't. So bummer, but really fun race there all race long. You know, I felt like it was me, the 54, the 07, and if AJ could have ever, you know, had a clean race, he'd have been up there as well. So yeah, fun, and congrats to Ty. That was you know, really impressive. So yeah, good job to him.
You don't race against Ty Gibbs every week, but he said just a moment ago, I needed to earn respect today. As a Cup Series champion, you think he earned respect?
Yeah, definitely. You know, he was able to pass me without, you know, even laying a bumper on me at all. So, you know, when he passed me, I felt like, you know, clean. I felt like, you know, I should not, you know, use him up like we've seen others do, and they get passed for lead late. So he ran me clean, and I was going to run him clean. So just didn't work out for me.
Kyle Larson winds up second today.
Post-race coverage continuing here on USA. And on the other side of the break, we'll hear from Noah Gragson. A very eventful race for the driver of the number 9. But a great celebration for Ty Gibbs, his 4th win in 2022, and an impressive one here.
The ones at the top of the mountain, climb tighten the buckle. One with the right crowd that likes to rumble. Hold a nice crown, it's hard to be humble. We welcome you now to our arena. If you don't know by now, it's hard to beat us. You can tell by our demeanor how hard we best and there won't be a question. You will remember our name when you see it in lights. We are the champions. We are the champions. We will fight through the pain. We'll be legends tonight. We are the champions. We are the champions.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.